here. Over at Modifius. Modifius Discord anyway. And out in Twitter world.
The tweeters.
There we go.
Fire.
This episode brought to you by Mike Judge. Anyway, there we go. Hello everyone, I'm AD Springer, also known as Corbinian. This is the Electric Metropolis video game tour, and we are playing another episode of DUNE, Silvanus, Agrestis, and Salutaris. As we continue, more or less, from where we left off with the attempted assassination on Silvanus itself. But, time to read a little bit from the Silvanus Chronicles by Wendell Berrysky. Beneath the shadowed veil, the Redeemer Inquisition emerges, a zealous force in service to House Malevolus, led by High Inquisitor Silvara Zethra. They wield political weaponry, spies and inquisitors, to eliminate Silvani tribes and safeguard the sacred Silvani sap. In their ruthless pursuit, violence and terror become instruments of divine will, etching a dark narrative on Silvanus soil. And little else is known of them, other than House Beleza has its machinations aimed. Rather, House Beleza has gained their ire and their ire to them for reasons that neither really quite recall anymore. But it has come active here in Silvanus, I believe. Or here.
Crack.
Here in the Palace Silvanus. We have Silvanus Johanna Mershid escorting along the Lady Gallia, mysterious prisoner in tow.
I don't think we were taking the prisoner with us to the Fallsgrafen. I think the marshal was incarcerating the prisoner for later interrogation.
Ooh, wait till she gets back, because that is a question that needs clarification.
Yeah. I know Joanna was getting the consort back to the Fallsgrafen rapido. Let me open up Twitch and boost Corbinian's followers.
Probably helps if I see the chat.
I think Mill is back now.
Have you returned from your...
Yes, I'm back.
So what were you doing with Mr. Prisoner?
I was planning to interrogate him to learn who sent him, basically.
Where were you going to interrogate him? Currently, the first time you get him and detain him, it's in the steward's throne hall.
Yeah, I was planning to transport him to the offices and interrogate him later. Probably call some of my folks to pull him away, I guess.
I will call for a roll on that. I will call this a battle roll to organize what people are here to escort him away. Because you would have access to your military police who are probably not in the hall itself, but they're like, there's like probably a handful of them nearby, I imagine. Either in the front garden or in the Stuart de Villas or what have you.
Okay. I think I'm gonna call this a power drive.
Power drive.
And would my combat awareness focus apply?
Sell me on it. I'm not entirely sure about it. I'm gonna look it up in the book as well.
I'm kind of thinking of it as being aware of the situation and what's around us, to find the most discreet way to spirit this guy away without causing a disturbance.
I'll buy that. This person is quietly pulled away, at least to the front garden. Are you following along with them, or are you going to report to the Falsgrafen?
I'd follow along until he is in a transport from my folks, and then report to the Pfalzgrafen.
That will take a bit of time, so we'll actually zoom back to the private room set aside for the Falsgrafen as the Reverend Mother comes in with Lady Galia. No alarms have been raised or anything. It's just, as far as the rest of the palace is concerned, it's wining and dining and networking as normal.
Falsgrafen will say, did you not have entertaining to see to Spy Master?
Your pardon, my liege, but there has been an attempt on the consort. Whether lethal or otherwise remains to be determined upon examination of the substance apparently put in her drink by, I believe to be a redeemer who has infiltrated our ranks.
The Falsgrafen will stand up quickly, shoving a chair and a glass away, and say, you have them. Did they survive?
The marshal has the perpetrator in custody now. We also have the syringe that the person attempted to discard and the drink itself. I intend to be present at the interrogation and can assure you that whatever intelligence there is to learn will be learned.
Take the syringe, do what spy masters do, and in the meantime, show me to this assassin.
GM, do we have like comm units of some description?
That would be an asset. There is a thing, CommuNet, and radios and stuff like that.
Okay, so I would like to create that asset. That since we all have one in our pocket or something.
So I will draw. Actually, what I'll do, you can either give me 2 threat, or you can do an understand roll, difficulty 2, covering that you may have preemptively seen this coming and went, I made sure everyone had one.
Okay. Understand duty.
Yeah.
Okay. So I click there. Understand duty. Submit. Do not have a focus for this, so take take 3 threat for 4 dice, so I can get us some momentum on the table, or not. Oh, each focus no. Made it, but no extra.
Yeah, you have comm units on you. Just be aware they are not encrypted, because that requires computing.
Right. So I'll contact the Marshal. Marshal Moonshadow. This is Johanna. What is your current location with the? What is your current location with the package?
We're in the front garden.
Various people are looking over at you, Marshall, because they see the 2 of you in your militant uniforms. You draw a tiny bit of attention. Some people are curious about the weird lawnmower that was being messed with by the Reverend Mother not that long ago. Other people, but the majority of the group so far isn't paying attention. They hear your radio make noises, but because you made your roll before, you would have kind of turned down the volume a little bit, so only you could hear it.
Shall I meet you back home, or are you heading toward our residences on the surface?
Once the package is picked up, I'll be briefing the false coffin.
All right. The Fallsgrafen would like me to join you and to gather what information possible before your report.
Then the station?
So are you talking about because we have a place on Silvanus' service, but are you talking about Salutaris, the moon?
Question for the GM.
Yeah.
How secure is the place on Silvanus that our house has? Is it...
It's a house unless it's been established, unless it gets established as a secure place asset. It's just a rich person's house.
Okay. Salutaris.
All right. I will meet you at the starport. So I will make my excuses to the Fallsgrafen and head out towards where we parked our shuttle, I presume.
And the False Craven's coming with you.
Oh, okay. It might be prudent to make your regrets to Duke Eric as we make our way out. Because as I take it, we'd be leaving the function kind of early and abruptly, right, GM?
It would be expected unless an emergency occurred that you'd be staying the night.
Right.
If not just for Duke Eric as the host, but also the other people who might be wanting to talk to you during the night. But if you tell Eric, then he can kind of spread the word very quickly, a lot quicker than you running around apologizing to everybody.
How much of a disruption would it be for just the marshal to, and maybe the spy master to sneak away? Like, is it more the Falsgrafen's absence that would cause concern?
Yeah, because the ruler would be leaving early for some reason, which people would be curious about. But if it's an emergency or something's come up, then, you know, it's like, oh, well, you have duty to house comes first. It's understood, but...
The Falsgrafen will say, I'll make my regrets to him as soon as he makes his regrets to me for his failures today. As she has half an eye towards following you and half an eye watching over the consort.
Your pardon, my liege, but if there's anyone to blame for today's incidents, it is I for not having the staff vetted thoroughly enough. This was a person who had infiltrated this was like not a guard, this was like a caterer or something on staff or whatever.
It's one of your uniformed people, like some retainer or security person that was along with you.
Okay, so for our the contingent of retainers we brought with us, I don't believe Duke Eric is to blame for any of this.
At least not openly.
Yeah.
The Falsgrafen will stop for a second and say, very well. And she looks towards Lady Galantis. Let us go. Make our presence known. And she'll look back to the spy master and say, there are very few things that could have disappointed me more, spy master. You will have to redouble your efforts to regain my confidence. And she'll leave.
Okay. Yeah, the spy master will head towards the starport.
And Falsgrafen, you're heading to the Duke?
No. Yeah, the problem was more that Eric is impulsive. So she
Right.
was all ready to blame Alaric for security failures, but when the spy master fell on their sword, that was enough to satisfy the impulsive need for
Blame.
some kind of action or solution, right? Something was done.
Right.
So now Eric is back in the mode of, well, we have diplomacy and to do and stuff, so let's go. So
But where do you go, actually? Because there's at least four different areas you can go. Or you can pull someone into your rooms.
It's a good question. I guess I have time left to do diplomacy, but not really anyone left to do it with, because the major thing was Wind Whisperer.
You could always talk with the Duke of Agrestis over in the dance hall. I think that's him anyway.
It is him. You should see name tags under these people.
I don't see one for him.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, there he is.
No, I guess Duke Alaric, right? Because it did put a lot of effort into trying to convince him to get a meeting like 2 episodes ago. And we move every moment closer to open conflict with Malvolus, so I'm not interested in working with him anymore. So Yeah, we'll find them. The false griffin will find the moment to speak with Duke Elric in the most secluded room possible, right, with as few people as possible. But it may, it may not be possible to get just the two of them.
You can try
But,
communicate difficulty 3. You might be able to find a way to ask the steward of Silvanus, like, hey, I'd like a private audience with you, please. And you are a ruler, so it's... Anyone else wouldn't be able to pull him off that throne, but you're a ruler, so it's actually possible for you to go, hey, I need to talk to you. Because when you get to him, he's kind of in the middle of... He's not doing anything super important, but he is kind of still running his house, so there's people putting reports in front of him or talking to him. When you come up to ask him to come along with you, you kind of have to think of a good reason to ask him. Finding a good moment to pull him away, because you're kind of also reading... It could be understand as well, difficulty 3, because you could find a moment of, hey, this sounds like he's not too busy. Could I have you for like a few minutes?
Yeah, communicate works. And are we allowed to apply assets to help with the roll, or is it just that
If the asset would help, yeah.
Well, Duke Galric, at least was, maybe still is, impressed by Gallia. And even if that's kind of past, having another person well versed in etiquette and diplomatic communication would be pretty helpful. Because then any conversation I have with Duke Alvik is 2 against 1, not 1 against 1.
Yeah, I'll knock down the difficulty by 1 for that asset, because you do have, since you did bring along your consort with you, it's you're both kind of putting your heads together and also trying to talk him to come with you. And it's like, oh, well, I think she's neat, right. Sure.
Yeah, then I think duty. Because I am serving the house in my capacity as its chief diplomat at the moment.
It's true.
I don't think 1 threat would hurt us. Focus in diplomacy.
He needs a threat so he can spend 4 so that we can get XP.
Now you gained 1 moment.
What's a good trait to create here? I like to put the trait friendly on him. At the moment, he is predisposed towards us.
So what do you say to the man as you successfully find a good moment to pull him away? And well, actually, I'll to succinctly, there's a bit of. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, not the intention here wasn't get a small moment in a hallway to share a conversation. It was more like to get some considerable time to talk.
A private audience.
Yeah, a private audience to talk like details of agreements, right? Where rather than just sentiment, hard facts are being discussed.
I think it is. I think this can wait a few minutes, can it? Yes, Stuart. He nods and to my private audience chambers then.
The false griffin will nod and follow. And the false griffin will leave Lady Agalia as just kind of nearby to intercept anyone who might be interested in interrupting.
Certainly.
Just like, someone comes to bring a message or something, just like chat them up for like an hour or whatever.
She spends time with some of the guards, kind of waiting out in the hall as well, because there's people his own honor guard is waiting around, but they don't mind her being around because they know who she is. They go, oh yeah, no. If you want to hang about in the hall, go ahead. We know what you're here for. As you pull him away, Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
You are walking through the front garden. You had a little radio conversation briefly. And a well-appointed looking noble lady kind of walks over to you and says, "Oh my! Would you look at that? Are you from the tribes, dear?" Her little gaggle of people who were talking to her kind of look over because they know she kind of just suddenly broke away from them. Like, huh? What is she doing? We were talking. Now they're looking at you two. The guy beside just keeping his head down and just shutting up.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful! And what is it you do, dear?
I am the marshal for Hospeleza.
You're a marshal! Isn't that wonderful? Oh, please tell me. Have you been a marshal long? Oh. Lady Mina, I'm not sure this is entirely... I'm just being nice. Don't interrupt, it's rude. Sorry, go on, dear.
Good.
I'm sorry, how long?
A few years.
A few years. Wow. Amazing. Do you do all your work up there?
I'm
Up
on
your-
duty now, actually.
You are? Oh. What possible duty could you have at the moment? Everything's nice and safe here. Lady Mina, shush, I said. Okay.
My role is to help my house guards ensure that remains the case.
Oh my, and this is one of your guards? The guy kind of looks over at you because he is somewhat bound at the moment and he's trying not to draw attention to it because he's trying not to draw attention to himself right now. He's kind of waiting for you to see what he should be doing because he's in your custody. He's trying not to imperil himself.
Yeah. I will say, he is one of the retainers. Yes, and I will step between her and him.
Oh, I'm not gonna bite, dear. Especially on the help. I mean, that's just... Oh, gosh. People chuckle at her humor. One person, the person who keeps trying to call her, trying to get Lady Mina to stop, it looks very uncomfortable right now.
Is Joanna anywhere near entering the garden yet?
Yeah, you could be approaching the garden because she's been delayed a bit, as you notice that she's wrapped up in this conversation.
All right.
I'll say, I appreciate your consideration on this.
Well, of course, the men and women in service to their houses must not be interrupted in their performance of their duties. I mean, if I were just to grab any old help around and bother them constantly, that would just be so rude. I'm not being rude to you, am I?
At which point, I'd like Joanna to swoop up and go, "So glad that you're so understanding, my dear. But the Marshal and I really must be on our way. As well as this. Is it a male or female person?
A female. Yeah.
As well as this young woman. You will all excuse us, I'm sure."
Give me a communicate roll, difficulty 2. This lady really wants to chat up and learn all this new stuff about you, and she's really not getting that she's hindering you right now.
Okay.
It would be difficulty 3 because she's stubborn, but there's a person next to her who's trying to do what you're doing.
Duty.
Can I assist on that?
Certainly can.
Sweet.
Ow. But you'll take duty as the statement? The
Only if you
drive,
don't
rather?
chuckle when you say it.
Okay. She's going to assist. I'll spend the 1 momentum for a 3rd die.
Duty as well.
Neurolinguistics as a focus.
Certainly.
Yeah. You really should just get out of our way, lady.
Sweet. I assist.
Whoa.
4 momentum generated. Good golly. Ooh. I misunderstood entirely. Oh, you're on duty. Of course. My mistake. Carry on. And she waves as if it was totally her idea for you to go away. And then the person next to her kind of, Lady Mina.
I will bow at her. I appreciate your grace.
As do we all, I'm sure. And Joanna will very slightly incline her head. 'Cause after all, she is the Reverend Mother.
The person next to Lady Mina, who is failing to get her attention because now she's in whatever conversation she's having now, her attendant looks to the two of you and ducks really apologetic bows and then holds his hands in prayer and apology to you, Johanna, like, sorry.
As we keep moving, Johanna will do the blessing sign of the Orange Catholics, whatever the hell that is. Upside down cross, probably.
The cross of St. Peter. I believe it is. The upside down.
I know. I'll appeal to Nero. He'll let me go.
So you managed to start making your way to the Stuart de Villas. Meanwhile, because I imagine you're trying to get up. You're trying to take the transport that you came down on rather than a commercial flight.
Yeah.
So in the private audience chamber of Duke Eric, there are some guards in here, but there's not nearly like the full contingent. It's just a handful of guards who are just watching the room and not looking at. They do glance at you and give you an evaluation, but they're more concerned with like hunter seekers or someone trying to sneak into the room who isn't supposed to be here, that sort of thing.
All right.
You see that the room has been recently redecorated. You can see that there's some stuff that's been moved around recently. You can still see some faint vestiges of what looks to be Duke Mevelus's presence. There's like a weapons rack, but there's no weapons in it. There's an armor stamp. There's no armor on it. Instead, you see various other decorations of various open books lying about, some paintings on the wall. And you can see that there seems to be the one thing that stands out from the room. There seems to be a sort of chemistry or looking sort of workstation. So you see various vials and beakers, and then a locked cabinet with various chemicals in it. You can see that you're kind of in the sort of front audience chamber, but you get the feeling that from another door, there's probably access to like other parts of his. This is like one part of his much larger private apartment here in the palace.
The false Graffin will look around for only a passing moment and then say, Duke, I wished to speak with you about the speech you'd made.
I imagine you would, Falsgrafen. It's not like the last one, but by any means. Barely even mentioned the war. And I could get the feeling you weren't terribly impressed, which is fine. You're not required by law to be impressed, after all.
Certainly, it's an impressive speech,
Ah,
but there was more left unsaid than said. I am not one who is comfortable not knowing their position. Your speech left everyone's position in the new order in question. One might think that you wished to accumulate all power in the system to yourself. Of course, I'm sure that's not your intention, but the speech was vague enough that that could have been a mistaken concept.
well, he moves and sits down at a couch and kind of lounges a little. And he kind of gestures for the chair across from him.
Yeah, the Falsgrafen will sit.
Well, I will admit, I am a noble son, so there is a bit of ambition. I'm not going to lie to you. But I and Theron do wish to see one of us. We really need to evaluate who of the four of us, of our four houses, can stand up to the Landsraad. And, frankly, the Emperor. We stood up to Malvolus because we didn't think that his path was good for Silvanus. I think he was going to simply stay in Carino's good graces for his tenure and his child's tenure, which has worked for our predecessors, but I think things need to change. And if they're going to change, this is going to be one of the few chances we have.
Certainly, you don't expect Malvolus to have any interest in being this house other than by returning you to the place he believes you belong.
Well, no, Corbin is a bit of a... He's competitive. I'm not going to fault him that. But if he can best me from my chair without pulling on the Carino purse strings, then I think he needs to prove himself not just to the Emperor, but to all of us. And right now, I'll admit, I don't think I have a chance. I could not claim today to be a great house. I have, your own questions, and the last time we saw each other was years and years ago. I think during one of our play dates of one sort or another, that camping expedition that we all had to do. But we need to find out who among us can command the respect and confidence of all four of us. Sure, I got Theron's support, he has mine. But that's not enough. That's just enough to get the steward's chair. We need to find out who of the four of us can actually hold it. Now, if Malvolus is right, he can bully all of us with his power and show that he's the strongest bull in the yard. If Theron's right, we'll all be able to talk it out and figure out who among us, through mere diplomacy and etiquette. And me, I hope to show a vision of productivity that makes us all far more productive and wealthy than we were to begin with. The only mystery I have, I do like a mystery, not going to lie to you, but is you. Your father was kind of trails off for a second, kind of looks over at the nearby fireplace. See him his boot kind of twitches for a moment as he's kind of pondering what he's going to say. He was a man of vision in his own right. Looks back to you. If anything, your father's the reason why I'm trying so hard about this. I mean, your family has worked on highliners for as long as my family's been making Royal Moon tea. But I don't know, it's like he tried to elevate the whole house. Pushed you. And wasn't afraid to send his daughter out to war. I mean, how often do the Belezas go fighting in Canli? I mean, beyond among ourselves, but
The false Griffin will say, well, it isn't actually that rare, once every 4 or 5 generations.
But that I knew what he might do. But I don't know what you will do, and somehow I don't think I've won you over with a single speech and an invitation to drink tea. Would you like tea, by the way? I've been rude. I didn't even offer any.
False Griffin will motion as if to say, no, thank you.
You see him wave at someone who is behind you, and then you hear one of the guards puts down a tray. Like someone had thought to do it ahead of him, and it's like, oh, fine then.
False Griffin will say, well, if you're interested in what I think, House Beleza is on the precipice of greatness, and I will see it over that precipice. You may take your time, but if you wish to see a house rise to meet the Emperor, then you will be seeing us do it. I hope beneficial arrangements can be reached between us as to how our houses will interact moving forward, but this will be a triumvirate. House Malvolus has no place in it.
Goodness. Corbett didn't say anything to you, did he? I mean, he was glaring at everybody today, but of course he's just in a bad mood. I wouldn't take it too personally.
The tools of his house have already made moves against me.
What? When? He kind of sits up, he stops relaxing, and he's paying very close attention to you now.
I don't see the need to involve Your Excellency. We have it in hand, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to formally solidify any arrangements between our houses before the difference between our strengths makes it less favorable to one of us. Right now we are close to equals. And so any connections might be favorable.
You are a daring one, aren't you? I can see why the Lady Gallia is attached to you so much.
There are many reasons.
Well, would you like me to maintain steward etiquette, or do you want me just to be forthright with you?
Dirk, whether intentional or not, your speech has opened the door to my ambition. If you wish to say something to inform that ambition, you must do so plainly.
Good. I don't like all that finery and adornment. You and I both have land rights out in the deep forest. Now, I have certain, as I've said, ambitions to improve us all and our profit from whatever land and trade we do with the tribes. Now, I have my land I'll be working with. If you're able to find some way to improve yield by a significant amount, and you are willing to work with my pharmaceutical experts, I think together our houses may be able to find a way to improve all our profits without without pressing ourselves upon the tribes. Now, I have my ways I'm going to do it, with or without you, but if you're able to find somebody to improve your yields with the land you have, or perhaps through whatever means you have, I'm not going to pry, that's not my business yet, then I can see Valorian working with Beleza on the matter. Which would be a nice difference, frankly. I mean, there's not many times we've been able to work together as houses in our fortunes. We work in very different fields, and whereas you look to the stars, we've looked to Silvanus. But if you're willing to look to Silvanus more, and you're able to achieve what I'm currently failing to do, then we can work together. Otherwise, if you can gain the confidence of the tribes to do similar without either of us pressing too much on our land, then the improvement of my research material goes far higher. As for cutting out Corvin, I don't know about that. Not yet, anyway. Right now, the amount of the battle we've had was up in Kaitan, and we avoided Canli here by the intervention of the Bene Gesserit. But any more than that, an outright cutting of him, the diminishing, I don't know how we'd achieve that without it escalating to Canli. If you can find a way around that, and you can talk to Theron about that. He can arrange the niceties of such a thing. But I personally think this is the most we dare do without making Silvanus into a second battlefield. Or give more Tiny any more attempts at us than he already tried to do.
I thought you had been impressed by the vision my father showed.
I am.
She looks and kind of spreads her arms out to display the the special uniform and all its decorations, and says, "Why do you suppose I am who I am? Because Conley is always where this was headed."
sits back. He looks down at the table. He looks back to you.
The false griffin says, working together, we would be near, if not total, equals, and perhaps a convention between the three remaining heads of houses could establish a happy arrangement with one of them becoming a great house. But if some of the houses were to wait until victory is had, until one house has already taken all but the final step, then it will not be an agreement of equals. It will be an acceptance of vassalage.
Let us achieve that first step of improvement of yield or some other arrangement so we can see each other commercially by way of chome and such. Anything beyond that, if you cannot accomplish that much, then if you want to defeat Corvin and Canley, I can't say I approve of it, but the conventions have their rules, and if you wish to take him on and defeat him, well, all I can do is entreat you not to cut at the blood of Silvanus. I won't insult you by attempting to promise further, because frankly, I knew your father, and I knew you as a much younger woman. I don't know the false Graffin before me. Not yet, anyway.
The false Graffin will give the tiniest bow and say, thank you for this audience, Duke, and will begin backing out to leave.
He stands up as you stand up, and he reaches out a hand over to you.
False Griffin will take his hand.
May the will of Silvanus be made manifest in one of us. Or more happily, both of us, but at least one of us. He shakes your hand.
The false Graffin will say, I certainly hope the will of the houses Beleza and Valorian will see us benefit.
He laughs and walks out with you as you're beginning to leave. We swing back to the Stuart de Villas do the trio walk? Do the two of you walk with your prisoner to the port, or do you call for a car? Or
I'd probably call for a car if, assuming nobody else wants to.
Yeah, let's make it one of ours, though. Or
Yeah, I'd call for one of our cars. Definitely. I'll spend momentum or threat if needed to generate the assets.
for 2 momentum, you could have the asset of the personal house car comes to get you.
Great.
And you notice there's like a couple other cars kind of hanging around nearby, and the one for you in your color. So the car is decorated. Actually, correct me, are your cars decorated in the same sort of green and black pattern, or do you just have like little banner flags off the hood of the car? How decorative is your vehicle?
I'd assume that they're decorated in house colors unless others prefer something more subtle. Like, unless the false graphite prefers something more subtle.
Whatever you think's cool.
His color's fun.
You won't be able to see it on the horizon. Yeah, no, it drives up. Your vehicle does draw eyes because it is, of the houses, it's the most, that pattern looks rather unique compared to most flags. And your whole car is decorated that way. So some people look over and look, oh, look at that, look at that. Person opens the door for you. Marshall, Reverend Mother.
Hello?
They wave to the open door.
I'll wait for the Reverend Mother to get in first, if she wishes to.
Since there's already been a excuse me, a bit of trouble, the Reverend Mother will definitely check out the interior before sliding in.
Understand roll difficulty 2. I'll go 1 actually, because it is, you would know what your cars look like, so you would know what stands out in it rather than a regular transport.
Understand truth, because I'm seeking to see if the truth of the situation. If is this car ours? Is it safe? Are we about to be ambushed?
I'll take that.
Okay. We said diff 1.
Diff 1.
Yeah. Let's see. Hey, gain 1.
Entering 1. You give it a good look over. Check under the chairs. Feel your hand very gently across the roof. Look at the controls. Look at the wheels. Maybe even stepping back a foot or so away to kind of see how the shadows play underneath the vehicle to see if anything's underneath there. Yeah.
Spy Master, Reverend Mother, Mechanic.
Huh?
Spy Master, Reverend Mother, Mechanic.
And yeah, everything is as it should be. The only thing you will note is that it probably needs an extra wash because of some of the pollen that's fallen on it, but that's the only other thing.
Trust me, I live in North Carolina at this time of year. I understand.
Oh my god, I swear. My windshield every year.
No, my
Early
black car was yellow.
Your colors are lightly tinted blue because of the leaves.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I will nod to the Marshal and slide in.
Okay. I will motion for our captive to get in, and then I'll get in last.
And the three of you bundle into the car. Your driver closes the door, looks around the front of the car, steps in, powers on the vehicle. You hear the rumble of the engine. Where to?
To the Marshal station up on, well, to the spaceport.
Oh, very good, Marshall. The two of you can roll an opposed roll of discipline. So one of you's the lead, the other is assisting. You might notice something as you're traveling to the spaceport. It's a short drive, but there's not a ton of time to see it, but you might see it as the car's going.
I've got a discipline of 6. What are you looking at?
You should lead.
Okay.
Up, up, up,
One more.
up,
One more. Ha!
up,
There's one.
up. 1 AP as I buy a full mitt.
And I can assist, I guess.
Certainly can.
Without really knowing what I'm doing here, can you tell me what drive would? I mean, what am I making a roll here for?
You
To
are
notice
something. There's something you, for a half second, you think you see something as the car is driving along, and you're not entirely sure what it is. But whatever it is something you can see while the car's in motion.
Okay, I'm gonna pitch truth then.
Certainly.
Okay. Discipline.
I will pitch duty because it's part of my job duties to remain observant.
I'll certainly take that.
You bought a full mitt. I think I will do the same with 3 momentum, and that gives me to 4 and 3 threat. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I assist successfully.
Okay. Let's see. I'll call out my discipline focuses. You can tell me if either one fits. Espionage.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes players make it easy to say yes.
Oh no.
So what was we're at 3 right now before he rolls. Let's see what he does. I got a reroll in my pocket, I think.
Is that a reroll in your pocket, or never mind? I had the wrong book open in front of me. I need this one. Right. That's why I need this. Because I'll highlight just for education's sake. So there's 2 ways to make NPCs. One is to make support characters and build them a little bit, or use from the books. But another way is that if a house is doing something, or it's being supported by a house, you can use the house's stats plus how much they dislike you as a quick way to figure out what their how good they are at organizing against you.
Nifty.
So,
I mean, we could probably use some more supporting characters. We only have the one that I created from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys will want to have actual characters with stats because it's usually better than a rando. Like in my case, it is just a rando person in that organization. Right. But if it's like a named person or someone of importance, then yeah, I'll actually like stat them out. Like the person you guys fought, that was a statted out person. The person you've captured is a statted out person. So they have a lot more flexibility that way. Okay. So that's that. Those out there will know who I'm looking at the moment. Guess who? It's a surprise. So this is what I'm using. So that plus that is that number. So my number is that. Up. Ooh, that's not great news. That is 4 hits with a complication. So our comps are going to kill each other. Unless you re-roll it, then I have a comp that I have to spend for it.
So question before I try and go for a determination re-roll. Would other memory have any effect on this?
No.
Okay, just to check. Okay, let's see. Determination on truth statement. I will discover the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll re-roll 3. That was...
Oh, they only just beat you. Jeez.
Discipline, truth. Like 3. Using focus, yes. Well, just not meant to be, I guess. Although I got rid of the comp, so
There's
Yeah.
a
So yeah, you do fail, but I'll say the complication is you do have a feeling you saw something. Like you're not entirely sure what it is for sure, but I'm gonna hammer home the idea that it was something. Something was off for out the window.
okay.
Like something looked weird, and then when you look again and try to get a better look at it, no, whatever it is gone. But yeah, no, that wasn't whatever that was. That wasn't there when the car was stationary.
Okay. Something a bit odd out there, but I can't quite determine what it is until Mill. Is it Mill or Millie?
Millie's fine.
Okay. I'm happy.
Sorry, I
to,
didn't mean that to sound dismissive.
No, I'm happy to use whatever the proper pronunciation is.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, so sorry, gang, but I couldn't make that work. However, that gets me an experience point for fluffing that
does.
roll.
Oh yeah, you failed at a roll, so yeah, no, that's another AP for everybody. 'Cause you
At
failed.
That's all.
a high roll too.
So you drive to the spaceport.
Here's hoping I didn't miss a surface to space missile launcher.
Yeah, no kidding.
The driver pulls up to your vehicle. Normally, you wouldn't be allowed to drive right up to a shuttle like this, but this is the Stuart Novilus, and the only people allowed to land or take off from here are the direct servants of rulers in this region.
Right.
So, yeah, if you're coming in an official car and they see the marshal and the spy master step out, yeah, no, they get the drive up. At most, the driver had to like show a badge to someone. Or had to alert someone that they were coming. They drive up, they move to open the door for you. They stand at a soft attention. Because they're trying not to make it look, because you're not the false Graffin, but they're still standing at respect, you know.
Right, fair. I'll let the marshal lead.
Okay.
You step out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Nice,
I'll get
crisp
out.
air.
And I will assist the others out.
Give me an understand difficulty 2 as you're kind of helping the prisoner out of the car.
All right. Does danger sense apply?
I'd say so. And I correct myself, difficulty 3. My bad.
Marshall's
Okay.
got spidey sense. I love it.
uh. I'm gonna say duty, because keeping this person alive is important for the house right now. We need to know who sent them.
I'll take
Is that okay?
Yep.
Alrighty. Difficulty 3, so you can take
Take what I
3 threat
want.
by 2
sorry.
extra dice.
3 threat eye.
And yes, I shall use focus. Submit. Holy crap, okay.
Nicely done.
Gain 2 momentum. This person seems a lot more withdrawn and quiet than you saw them before. They look a lot more frazzled and furtive when you were escorting them through the garden and to the car, but now they seem a lot more subdued. And that's just, that doesn't, yours, you've had a few prisoners in your career. That sort of transformation that quickly is in a very short car ride. The car ride was at most 5-10 minutes, you know. But that flip of a switch is just odd. But they get out of the car when you pull at them. They'll follow after you.
I will make a note of that. Does it seem that anything in the environment is provoking this change in demeanor? Like in the immediate vicinity?
I will take that momentum as a question.
Sure.
It's nothing in the area seems to be doing. You look around, you don't see anything that, because it's a think like a private plane tarmac sort of looking area. So it's lots of open concrete, little flashing lights for landing, and there's some soldiers running around. And there's no big pageantry going on here. He's just being moved in a car with like a handful of guards around. So it's not super intimidating. And also this person wasn't like especially reverent. So it's not like them being escorted by the Reverend Mother is like some great shame to them or something.
Okay.
So yeah, no, there's nothing in the area that would I keep doing that.
So, all right. I will focus on getting them safely into the transport for now. I'll ask them about it when we get somewhere a bit more secure and safer, because my concern is that this is not a region that's under our sole control, and if whoever sent them wants this person dead so that they can't leak information, we're at risk.
So the three of you escort the prisoner to the shuttle?
Yes. Yeah. And once we get on the shuttle, then I might ask as small talk what is making them so anxious.
As you start piling into the shuttle, you sweep back to... Oh, I lost her. There she is. To the false griffin. Where are you off to after Duke Eric walks with you and your lady back to the throne hall? He goes back to his throne, unless you want to talk to him in public, but, you know.
Nope. Gonna try to run into Malvolus.
You bring the lady with you?
Yeah.
You cross through the dance hall. You pass by Lair Serafina with the people around her who are dancing. She notices you walk in and kind of gives a polite nod and smile, and notices you're not walking toward her, so she doesn't really go to intercept you or anything. Plus, she is an air consort. Her rank is not high enough for her to interrupt you.
Yeah, just the slightest look in her direction so that she doesn't think I ignored her.
Yeah, you're not willfully snubbing or anything. You're just like, yeah, no, I'm not here for you, but hi, I see you. You get over to the group of people around Duke Malvolus. You can give me, as you approach his group, an understand roll difficulty 2 to get a feel of the people around him. Like there's an air here that you're feeling. Like it's almost like when you move from this part of the one from Lady Seraphina's dance part of the dance hall to Corvin's, there's a big. It's almost like there's a shift of air.
Um, I'm not really sure what it is, but if it's
Oops, wrong person.
people drawn to him because of his status, then I might suggest power. But if it's hangers on, I might suggest duty. I might choose power unless
I won't
I'm
stop
wrong
you
for
from
any
choosing
reason.
power.
Okay.
That isn't unreasonable.
I'll spend 1 momentum.
Well, there you go. Generate 2. Yeah, you look around. You haven't been on Silvanus for a while, as we've established, and I won't stop establishing it. Uh, but yeah, you look around the people around him. Now, the people who are invited here, of course, are people of station. When it comes to the main throne hall, only certain people are allowed to stand along the carpet like you did. Anyone who you had with you, like your extra retainers and servants, they stood off the carpet. They weren't really allowed to talk to anyone up there. And a lot of the people who were off carpet kind of petered out to the front garden. But in the dance hall and the dining hall, once the reception's open, some people from the front garden did come in. So some of the people around Lady Serafina are from the front garden. Some of them are people that she just knows here in the palace. When you get to Malvolus, you see that there are a few nobles, some from Agrestis, of course, so his own personal retainers and such, an office. You don't see any of his officers present here. But you notice that these people are various members of society on your worlds. You even see one lady from Salutaris, who is in his company. And these people, you get the air off them that they are people who supported Malvolus when he was the steward, and they're kind of congregating around him.
All right, I'll walk up and kind of loudly announce, Duke Malvolus, I was hoping to run into you.
As you call to him, he's in the middle of dancing with someone, and then he kind of looks. He sees you, and as they're spinning around, he looks over at you again, and he nods, and then he says, "Pardon me." And he very almost carelessly lets go of them in the middle of a spin. The person just kind of stumbles back, surprised, because they were in the middle of dancing. It's like, oh, and they look like, what? What's that for? Sort of look, and then a quick bow of a nod, like, oh, of course, there's nothing, Most people would complain if you just suddenly let go of them. This person immediately acquiesces and backs off, and he strides over to you. And with a sort of militant, you can hear his militant boots kind of thunk, thunk, thunking on the dance floor, and he kind of stands just out of arm's reach. You recognize it. You recognize a military man because you fought in the War of Assassins, so he's staying out of easy dueling range, but enough that you don't have to shout across the room anymore. Volsgrafen?
I wanted to at least exchange pleasantries. There's not been a chance yet for us to meet. I would not want you to feel unacknowledged.
His eyes peer at you. He looks over at the lady beside you and looks to you. Very smart of you, Volsgrafen. How goes the war? You're more recent to it than I am. Some people kind of over in Lady Seraphina's side, they kind of overhear him because he's not talking quietly at all. The majority of people hear the dancing music, so they're not really paying attention. A couple of people overhear it, and they kind of have that look of, "Whoa, come on, let's not talk about that here. We're trying to have fun." But the people around him, they're very pointedly not paying attention to his conversation right now.
The false griffin says, well, as ever, House Akaz defends themselves nobly, and as ever, House Muratani violates every portion of the Great Convention, yet allies in the Lancerat and beyond have yet to bring them to heel.
I still think we should flatten the whole planet, but like for
perhaps there are those who would give consent for Moritani to glass a planet. There is no one who would give consent to House Akaz. As the false Graffin is very pointedly trying to, say the Emperor's on the wrong side without saying the Emperor's on the wrong side. In fact, such a issue is what I have been interested in talking with you about, where the powerful sometimes allow subordinates to act out of turn and do not bring them to heel.
That's what a good whipping is for. Get them in line. But let us not act like we're in the garrison. Should at least pretend that we're enjoying ourselves. He offers out a hand rather sloppily to dance. The lady kind of gives him a look like, what the hell?
The false Graffin will rebuff him by not accepting and say, in fact, I was hoping you had that sentiment. You very much do need to get out the whip and bring the Inquisition to heel before I do. Right now, the worst that needs happen is you exercise the whip you are so fond of suggesting others use. If no progress has been made, then perhaps I will have to get out the whip.
And we're in an intrigue fight.
Yeah.
As he's trying to basically tell you, stay out of, get your nose out of my business, or I don't know what you're talking about. You're trying to go, no. Even if they're not your direct banner, they are your supporters, so do something about it. So yeah. Boop.
So this is like the other intrigue battles we've done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wasn't sure because I don't know that maybe he's gonna try to like bring in an assassin or something, but how do intrigue battles work when everybody's just like talking at each other?
So if you have like assets that are more intangible in nature, then you can bring those to bear in the conversation to try to get extra damage. Otherwise, when you succeed at tests with each other, you are just doing 2 damage flat to each other, trying to get the other person to acquiesce to your demand. The other battles, to be honestly, should have been more espionage-y, but there was sort of, actually no, even then they were still talking the guy down from carrying out his very subtle attack, or what he thought was subtle.
That was kind of espionage-y because it only turned to talking down because Galia got activated, right?
Yeah. That was more of an espionage fight that almost turned into a skirmish. This is a true intrigue that you both have a very certain point you have, and right now you're at the talking stage. You're not escalating beyond that, and it's not espionage because you're kind of right on each other.
Is there something to decide who goes first?
You will go first here because you're the one who confronted him, so you'll be starting it.
All right. And I should suggest an action I'm taking or an asset I'm invoking?
Yep. How are you trying to convince this guy to...
What what if I want to take an action? What if I want to say something that implies an asset? Like, for instance,
There's a talent for that, actually. There's a talent
Oh,
where you can
okay.
pretend that you have an asset that you don't.
No, not pretend. Like, I don't want to use the supply contract with the guild to actually hurt him. What I want to do is point out that I have it, and that you know, perhaps there are negotiations that see more guild ships stop at my planet than his. Right. So I'm not actually I'm not actually trying to take the money away. I'm just saying
You're
right, if you don't
intimating,
take
yeah.
I'm intimating.
Yeah, no, and
So-
and if you would benefit from that, does that have quality, that asset?
Yeah, too.
Yeah. So yeah, if you do succeed at that, you're able to kind of intimidate him a bit because, well, I do have this asset. I do actually have it. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. You know. It's an
Okay.
opposed roll because he's.
So this
trying-
is me acting. This is not the contract doing something.
Right.
Okay.
If he wants to in this fight, because you any asset you bring up, or is obvious, like for example, it is obvious he's the former steward, so he has some social strength behind him just for being who he is. You can attack the person and try to wear down their argument, or you can attack an asset to kind of take it out of the conversation.
Okay.
But it's still an opposed roll. It's just you're attacking him, not one of his assets.
Yeah, I'm gonna take him.
So rude. What did he ever do to you?
Communicate justice. I'm trying to I'm trying to place myself on the right side of the law here.
And I am the law. I must be fair or be broken. You're not being unfair here at all. You're rightfully bringing it to the appropriate authority in his area. It's like, look, you fix it or I will. I could just fix it on my own. But I'm being nice. Well, nice. Yes, I'll take that. Yeah, I have no reason to fight you on that.
All right. And I will spend. What's my difficulty? Or is it opposed?
It's opposed, yeah.
Okay. Do I get to know how many dice you might want to spend before I decide, or?
Yep, I'm gonna spend. I'm not gonna spend a full mix. You're just doing damage to me, so I will buy a die though.
Yeah, I'll buy a die then.
With what?
Momentum.
Yep.
Focus in diplomacy.
I'll take it.
Is that a tie? Kind of depends, I guess, if he's got to focus here.
Yeah, that's 4.
All right.
But he set the difficulty because he's defending, so you win.
Okay.
The defender loses ties generally.
So then, because I've invoked the asset, I do additional damage, or I get additional bonus momentum?
You get additional damage because you're using it to kind of pressure him.
Then that would be 4.
Ooh, well, he learned how much that asset was. He's like, at first he's like, I'm just gonna take. Whoops, I didn't. He's not down, freaking brain. There's a very in the conversation he gives as you bring it up. There is, you can see that look in his eye of. As you bring up certain details, he was aware of the contract. He wasn't aware of how good the contract was. So there's that look of, oh, I didn't realize that's how close you were.
Yeah. If the guild's gonna if the guild is forced to choose sides, it's not gonna be me. Then I succeeded, or I attempted to communicate this, so I'm going to put a freight on them for free. Would the trait moderate threat kind of go towards like the false graffin has to be taken seriously and like he has to engage here, but also kind of be like he doesn't think I'm about to stab him. Like I'm not a
You're not trying to
immediate
escalate
physical
it to
threat.
Conley yet. You're just
Yeah.
talking to him. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. On his go, he's going to try to attack the contract as an asset. This doesn't destroy the asset; it just takes it out of the conversation. As he basically tries to bring up that, despite that contract, he suggests that there are, as a house that frequently uses the guild for various shipping of his goods, that perhaps they may need to reconsider how valuable he is to them and how much money he makes for them by getting people to move his very heavy, very space-consuming things around. And that's basically the argument. He's just trying. He's not attacking. He's not doing damage to you. He's trying to get that out of the conversation. Like he's trying to say, well, I could get one too. I could make that not. I might get my own contract if you push me hard enough. I just haven't yet because I don't want to. That sort of attitude.
So do I roll, or since it's not me, he just has a flat number to hit?
It's still opposed because it's an asset under your control, so you can kind of like, hey, wait a minute, hold on. This time it's buying a full mint because that. Well, I can't buy full mint. I can only buy 2 extra dice. And I would say this would fall under like communicate or understand on your side to oppose it.
Communicate. Communicate duty? Like, because I'm trying to say the guild already has an obligation to me. They may or may not want one with you, but that doesn't matter because they already have one with me.
Right. It's like you're standing on the legality of it, contract of it.
And rather tactically. Oh wait. Hold on.
Well, there you go.
Then because I am the house's kind of chief diplomat, would you take a determination on the statement the house serves me and I them? Because I am the person who would resolve differences with Malvolus for the house. Like the house needs me for this.
I'll take it, yeah. Because you could have just sent your lady to talk to him. Wouldn't have gone terribly well, but you could have.
Yep.
Oh, that's what I was looking for.
Was thinking this won't activate subtle words because it calls out you have to spend momentum. But the reason I'm doing this is because I can't buy 2 dice, because if I buy 2 dice, you could afford 3, and then I'm going to want to afford 3, and that means suddenly you have 5 more momentum worth it. So very tactically deciding not to buy any more dice than 1 momentum can afford. Focus in diplomacy, because this is still very much a negotiation. Well, that's 3.
You have one more die, don't you? But
No. I didn't. I can't buy a die because I spent determination.
Oh right. Oh right. Sorry, brain. I'm awake.
Yeah,
I
because
promise.
the idea was you've bought 2. I could have bought 1, but then I'd be down a die. Oh, I think we're tied. But it's on the defense. I'm on the defensive here.
That is 3. Yeah, we're tied. You're on the defense, so it falls to him. Yeah, the contract. He makes his points, and then there's that moment you realize yeah, he might be able to push this issue enough that he may not win a contract, but he might imperil yours. So you very quickly clue in, at least for now, maybe you don't want to bring up the contract anymore. Because he won't either if you stop bringing it up.
All right.
It's back to you. He did no damage to you because he attacked an asset. And he didn't use his status as former steward as the reason why, so I don't get anything. I don't get any threat for that. He wouldn't anyway. Wouldn't make sense.
Then I'll try to invoke the asset of Beleza's Condemned. It's known that the recently House Blessa survived a altercation and turned many of the assailants into well-trained soldiers. So if he doesn't bring them and I have to break them, then he threatens giving me more people to force into the army. Like, not using them as a threat of, I'm going to send these people after you. It's, I've already turned criminals who are willing to kill me into soldiers, and I'll do it again if you don't stop them from coming.
Oh, that's what I was looking at. Gonna answer that. An asset of his own. Just trying to see how good they are before I say anything. What are a mix of criminals and vagabonds versus the well-trained artillerists and logicians of Agrestis, as he's basically retaliating with his own asset?
Is there any way I can invoke the trait here? Because my argument's not primarily that I'm going to use these troops against him, just that he could end up giving me more soldiers to get like a bonus success or something on this. Because he's not actually convinced.
You're getting it. I'll give you an extra hit for that, yeah. Because there may be something else that you're not saying, or he might overestimate you, which is not to his benefit to do that.
All right.
Basically, you're swinging at each other with your assets now.
This feels more like communicate power.
I would say so, yeah.
I'll spend 1.
I'll spend 1 back.
Focus in innuendo, because much now is about what's not being said.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's only 1 for me. Gain 2 momentum. 3,
3.
sorry.
And Beleza's condemned are quality 3 now, so that is 5.
5. Ooh, he's taking 9. Is that enough to tip him over? It might. That's enough. Because it is... The stress track is... equal to relevant skill. Yeah, no, even if I'm being generous. Yep. The conflict peters out as you both make your veiled threats at each other and, stand up to each other sort of thing, and then he just kind of... He goes quiet for a bit as he stares at you.
I'm gonna use subtle words to put a trait upon him. That is... Thinking something like strength affirmed or something. Like if he had doubts about the leadership of Beleza because of its transfer of power, those are dispelled. And then I don't know. I hope by winning this that he's gonna promise to do something about them.
You might want to wait to see what he promises before you spend it, though.
Okay.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, because if they're yeah, okay.
I believe you and I know who we're talking about. So, I'll say this to you, Falsgrafen. Those responsible will be either brought to heel or shown that Agrestis is only for those willing to suffer its demands. And unlike your tender marshal's mercies, we are a military planet. If you get lucky, perhaps someone will resist.
Is he threatening to invade my planet?
Agrestis, his mountain.
Okay. So he's just threatening to be uber violent.
He's saying he's not threatening. He's saying he will be uber violent if they don't do what he tells them to do. It's like, either do what I want on my moon, or you can get off. And if you resist, yeah, he'll likely use them for target practice or something nefarious. And that won't cost momentum asset. That's just me clarifying what he's saying.
But I do get the impression... Well, okay, so I'm a little bit confused. He's not offering to start... He's not offering to go after them with his full strength. He's only offering to go after the ones who don't do what he wants.
For momentum, that there's extra information there. I know what you're asking.
Sure.
Basically, anyone who's on his moon, he's gonna tell them to. You basically want them to stop. So anyone who's working on his moon, they either need to stop or get off. And if he finds out anyone's on his moon is going otherwise, they're gonna die. On other moon, on your moon or on Silvanus, he's not accepting responsibility. He's not willing to go into other people's territory to hunt them down. He's not gonna go to Canley not Canley, but he's not gonna start a full espionage battle against them. He's just purging. Okay. He's just purging the ones on his moon, which is a minimal effort, but it will basically rob them of Agrestis because they won't be able to operate out of there without pissing him off.
It'll rob them of their strongest bastion, right? That's where most of the strength of them comes from.
For momentum, I can add something to
that. No, because I need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will spend 2 and give you 1 to make this a binding promise. Because although it is not how Erica would prefer justice be handed out, he is the undisputed rightful lord of Agrestis, so his justice is justice on Agrestis. Even if I don't like it, it doesn't really matter. Justice is being served if he says it's being served, because he is the lord there.
Yep. I'll certainly take that. And you notice he stands a little more at attention. You notice, most people wouldn't notice it, but you've been around people like him enough to kind of see that subtle difference. There's standing at attention out of etiquette and politeness, and then there's out of, I actually respect the person I'm standing around, so I'll actually straighten up a tiny bit more, sort of thing.
So there's an air of respect coming from him towards the false griffin?
That sort of strength affirmed. Like he seems to, he likes someone who is willing to do what you just did. So.
Okay.
I see that the war has done you every benefit, false griffin.
I will say, actually, I want to say something and then mean something else. I want to say niceties and commend Alric on his speech and Malvolus on his attendance, but really what I want to get across is more like when you manage that, there's an open invitation to come to Salutaris to discuss who is this great house that Alaric is looking for. Putting emphasis that it's only him that I'm inviting to talk about this, so that
I will challenge you to a communicate difficulty 4. The difficulty is rather high because there's so many people here who might overhear you and communicate this information to either be able to figure out what you're saying there and then, or pass it on to someone else who could interpret it. So you're kind of fighting a lot of ears that could overhear this.
All right.
You're not fighting Corvin himself because he seems to like you.
Can I invoke Lady Galia to kind of intercept some of the known gossips, to pre-engage them in conversation, grab their attention?
You can use her as an asset to bring the difficulty down by 1, yeah, because she'll at least get some people or just give you a little bit of cover, try to slow people down or what have you. Yeah. Now it's just the people who can hear from across the room that could more easily figure out what you're saying.
All right. I will give
God, it goes
you 3.
You can give me 3. Good.
I think duty.
Mm-hmm.
Focus and innuendo.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a success, and I think an advancement point because you.
I didn't up it. That just was the
Oh,
difficulty.
okay.
If you failed it, you would have gotten one. So yeah, no. So you're able to make your subtle invitations, as you're commanding and stuff like that, and he almost responds just out of hand to your open-faced thing that you're saying. But then there's that twinge of, wait a minute, he catches something that you said, and then he just kind of... He gives you a look. A very thorough, evaluating look. And he smiles. It seems to be a genuine smile. Let's see where the dance takes us then, Falsgrafen. Is all he says in response. And he gives a curt nod of acknowledgement, and he steps back to his group of people to go dancing. He grabs some gentlemen to kind of dance with them suddenly.
All right. I don't think I have any more objectives. So unless there's some event that you bring about or someone here that wants to talk to the false graph, and then I'm just, biding time until we get back to Salutaris.
Very good. Meanwhile, on the shuttle, I believe the Marshal and the Reverend Mother are bringing their prisoner aboard.
Yep.
I believe Moonshadow wanted to engage him in some small talk.
Yeah. Mainly, so I'll start with trying to build some rapport by asking where he's from and other small talk.
Give me... As you talk to him, you notice he doesn't respond much. He's silent. He doesn't seem to be studying the space between his boots.
So would that be communicate roll?
Understand roll, difficulty 2, based on his,
Okay.
when you read his body language and how he's responding. Or not responding.
Again, I think it goes to duty in this case because I'm doing this as part of my desire to protect the house.
I can take that.
Does danger sense apply or no?
It would. If it's attached to understand, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it is.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Gain of momentum.
Hooray.
Yeah, you get the feeling he's very focused and concentrating on something. And it's almost that sort of sense you get off of one of your, like, off a sniper or someone who's about to breach through a door. There's that look of focus people get when they're, okay. It's kind of hard to talk to them because they're that focused. So he does hear you. He's just focusing you out. Over the radio, from your pilot, you hear the person call, Marshal, where would you like us to go? You hear the crackle over the radio. Because the pilot compartment's a little... I mean, you two could walk up to that area if you wanted to, but the door's normally closed to protect the pilots from whoever you've brought aboard.
Joanna will kind of sit down across from the guy and then say, what are you waiting for? Or tell me what you are waiting for, and I will use the voice on him.
That's annoying.
Nice.
Let's see. So I will add 3 points to threat to score 3 automatic successes.
Yeah, it's a communicate test. I got
to get my character sheet from being crazy. Okay. Communicate and truth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I was thinking what he was going to do, how many dice he's going to spend to resist. I'm not sure I'm going to try, because that's 3 hits out of the gate. You're a freaking witch. He knows you are. And you're doing the weird, creepy voice.
And I'll have the
may not be worth trying to fight you on this.
For the 3rd die. Focus in neurolinguistics.
Yeah.
Submit. 5.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad I didn't buy dice. You assisting at all, Moonshadow? Because you hear her say it. You hear her do the voice, and because it's very distinct when they're doing that.
Actually, I might as well.
If only the TA did that one.
Yeah. You'll have to talk to House Valorian to improve the T to help with it.
Huh.
Oh god, that's so many. Well, I still have to roll, because I might, you know, get double ones and then feel silly. It's 1 hit, maybe. I'll call it 1 hit without looking. Still, that's what? 3 on
6 to 1.
6 to 1, so you gain 5.
Nice.
I'm waiting until we are airborne. Spaceborne.
Why?
For momentum, you can ask an additional question there.
Yeah.
Like, you can ride that
Yeah.
wave. I need... He stares at you guys like he's like kind of thrown that he's saying this out loud. And you can see he wants to try not to say it, but there's no hope. The voice, you leaned with everything the voice has, with the power of a Reverend Mother's voice on him. There are very few minds in the Imperium that could resist that.
Boo.
I need to kill you. And we're in skirmish because he's screwed now. He knows he has to try to fight his way out of this.
Okay then.
Damn. This fight's not really good for him now. Wasn't great to begin with, but
Well, at least the marshal's here, who probably has a weapon of some sort.
So is this going to be a skirmish of you two fighting him, or is it a duel of one person attacking him to try to subdue him?
I'm okay with a duel if Lady Jessica's okay with a duel.
Lady Jessica's not here.
Or not Lady Jessica, sorry.
I can see why you confused it.
Joanna,
I
yeah.
apologize.
I was
Joanna.
gonna offer to make a supporting character if you wanted support, but if you want to make it a duel, go for it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. If you want to do it, we could also just, I don't, I could use the voice and tell him to stop. But yeah, if you want to duel, I'll back you.
Sure, let's do it.
Going to duel?
Probably, because we got 4, you probably want to spend 2 and 2 for a sword and a shield.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, and actually, we have different music for... Actually, skirmish and duel have the same. War is the only one with the weird music. Actually, no, those are the same set. Those are the sets.
Oh, we're using the active duel.
So, you've created some assets. There we go. Okay, whoops. Created 2 assets. One is a full shield. That stays in your zone because you don't. It's protecting you in particular. And you have a sword.
Yes.
Is in your left hand or your right hand? Or are you keeping it close, very close to you as you're drawing it?
Let's say Millie is a lefty.
Oh, buddy, he really wanted to do this in the air. But well, that's fine. You're kind of fighting each other in the. As he says that, he suddenly bolts up from his seat position. It launches and begins to get ready to attack, but you've already kind of fired on your shield, and it's buffeted the Reverend Mother behind because now there's this wall of shield, but of a person between her and the fight.
Good.
So he can't get to her. He has to defeat you to get to her at all.
Meanwhile, the Reverend Mother will call in reinforcements.
So the stakes are this duel is almost like a rapid fire of you trading shots to see if he is able to battle his way past the Marshal and attempt to escape rather than being bogged down in this fight so long that if he's defeated, he's basically held down long enough that reinforcements arrive. Because I get the feeling the stake you're setting is you want to still capture him. You're not trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Whereas he's trying to escape past you two. Well, actually, no, he's trying to kill the both of you. So if he gets past, he will try to kill Moonshadow, and there may be a follow-up battle with the Reverend Mother. Because he wouldn't be able to kill the both of you because you forced it into a duel, so you forced him to have to fight you one at a time rather than both of you at the same time.
Is it possible for the Reverend Mother to assist the Marshal somehow during the duel?
No, it turns into a skirmish at that point.
Okay.
That you become a valid target he can swing at.
Okay.
Right now you're invalid because there's someone who's saying, no, you have to fight me before you can do anything else.
Okay. I don't mind being an invalid target.
He doesn't have a shield. That wouldn't make sense because you would have seen it and taken it. So I don't have a great reason to invoke that. So actually, I need to see. What am I doing? I'm making this hard on myself for no reason.
I mean, if he really wants to kill them, a last gun would do it. Being that there's a shield in front.
Fair.
Although, I mean, he's the first person that would get incinerated.
Him, everyone else in the carrier, and everyone within the entire carrier, the entire Stewart of Villas would be blast. Actually, no, hell, it'd be a nuclear blast that would devastate the entire palace. But yeah, no one's that insane to. Well, sorry, I'd say that, but Moritani does that sort of stuff because they're weird. There's a reason they don't survive into the regular Doom books. Well, they do, but they made a lot of enemies during this war. So yeah, I will. He has one asset on him already, but I'm not gonna bring it out yet. I need my markers. Where the hell are they? They're there. He does have some hidden chest armor on him that won't prevent him from being attacked from anyway, but it will reduce how much damage he takes. That's an asset he can't move around. That's stuck to him, much like your shield. Your shield forces him to have to do melee to get at you. He and makes any range attack invalid. And you notice as he lifts out of his seat, he produces, you see it almost kind of, you see one of his bones in his wrist kind of extend out and form into like a sort of bone dagger. He screeches in pain and he goes, "Rah!" He tries as he begins to assault you.
What the fuck?
Intellectual shit right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I really don't want that sword to hit me, so I am going to... Yeah, I'm gonna try to attack your... I have to move it to get to your sword. He is going to... Yeah, he's gonna move his bone dagger into the same guard as your sword, but he's gonna do it boldly. So he does a big bold swing to try to get you to draw your sword back to overcommit to defending yourself rather than meeting the blade.
Okay.
So he is doing a move task. It is... Scroll to... It's part of the book. I think if he's moving, he doesn't roll to oppose yet, because he's just moving around. He's moving an asset somewhere rather than attacking, truly. This is my first duel in Dune, straight up. I didn't do duels when I played it. I should have, in retrospect, but I did not. Yeah, he's moving. So it's I just aim for difficulty 2. Because I'm not attacking your asset, I'm moving mine to get closer to you. Scroll. This. That's my number. I'm gonna buy a die because I want to succeed, hopefully. Ooh. Oh no. I did not get the 2 I needed. Yeah, no. So actually, he tries to move his bone dagger forward, but you're able to kind of meet the attack and shove his bone dagger back into away from piercing through your guard and knocking your sword back. However, because he failed, he has an additional problem. He also not only does he not get to move forward in the way he wanted, but you may move a single asset one zone. So you can move your sword somewhere, either into his guard to get closer to attack, because you can't hit him until it's in his zone, his personal zone, rather than one of his guards.
Okay. Could I move it into his right-hand guard?
You're moving around his bone dagger guard.
Yeah.
The turn falls to you.
Okay, I will attack him.
You need to move your sword into his zone.
Oh.
You're just
Then
in his
I'll
left.
try to-
You're just in his left guard.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
weird.
Move my sword into his zone then.
Okay. Are you subtly doing it? Well, subtly doing it doesn't really help you because keeping the initiative doesn't matter. There's no one else here.
You sounded so uncomfortable saying that.
No, I'll be bold about it, I guess.
You boldly move your sword. Unless you didn't. Actually, the reason you would subtly do it is if you didn't want any of his assets to move. That's why you do that. But if you boldly move the sword, you can move his dagger into his zone or into a different guard. Or if you had multiple items, you can make it move to somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it is move. It is a move check, difficulty 2. Move battle generally, or move discipline, I would say. Or not move discipline. It is move plus one of your drives. I'm smart. Don't worry about me. I know how this game works. Shut up.
Duty or power would be the two I'd be leaning towards. I'm guessing duty because I'm protecting our spy master.
I'll take duty here.
Okay. Much as I don't want to take a threat,
Certainly.
I'm gonna spend an extra die for this. Go figure. Okay.
Well, you generate 2 momentum,
Nice.
and you are able to as he knocks your sword back, you're able to bring it around to his the opposite guard, to his right guard. Well, his left rather. So you bring your left one over around. You start swinging forward. What does his bone dagger do? Because that's the only asset that can move.
And I can force it to move?
You can force it to move. Yeah. You can move back.
I think in terms of if it's in the same zone as my sword, is there any effect on my ability to attack him?
It would. Oh, I'm sorry. Defensive assets add to difficulty. They don't reduce damage. Joy. No, yours does because it's a shield. Sorry, I'm mixing my stuff up. So yes, if you do move the bone dagger into the area, it could be used to increase difficulty, as he could say, "I'm using it to block myself." But you could also you could also attack the bone dagger to try to break it or knock it away from him. Or you can bring in it just that forces him to have to slowly start marching it over to you.
Yeah, I think I'll bring it in.
You bring it in?
Yeah.
What are you attacking?
Mainly because it makes it harder for him to attack me.
Are you attacking the dagger, his armor, or him? Actually, you moved. You can't. Sorry.
Yeah.
So he has to respond. He could attack your sword, and I will say to you, most people in this situation might try to attack your asset to try to knock your sword away and get it out of the fight. He does not do that. He attempts to boldly move his bone dagger back into his right guard.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend for 2 extra dice because he does not want to fail this. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only needed 2, so I gained 4. He returns his bone dagger back to his right guard, and as he's doing that, he feints that he's gonna try to come to your right, and you kind of overcommit to defending yourself, and you end up being pulled off attacking him. Because he succeeded at move, he is gonna spend some momentum, well, threat in my case, to continue moving his dagger. Scroll. Just seeing if I can move it more than one zone or not. I can move it 1 extra zone. I don't know how many extra zones I can do it. Oh, there it is. You may spend 2 points of momentum to move your chosen asset 1 additional zone, or to choose a second asset to move 1. I had multiple weapons, I can move both, but I'm not. So I will spend 2 threat to advance the bone dagger into your left guard. Turn goes back to you.
Okay. I guess I'll boldly move my shield back into the his personal zone, or boldly move my sword back into it.
Okay, difficulty 2.
Okay. I'll use duty as drive again. Same reason.
Yep.
I'll spend a momentum for 1 extra die. Why did I only roll 1 die? That was weird. Sorry about that. Can I spend my determination for this session? With my ambition?
Well, it's attached to your statement.
Oh.
I'll do what I
Then
must in
first
service of my
statement?
house and people.
Yeah.
I will take that because you are kind of, you're not just defending yourself on a personal level. This is a prisoner who's trying to kill the 2 of you.
Yeah. Alright, so I'll re-roll the 2 that were not successful then. There we go. That's better.
Generate 1 momentum. You move your sword back into his zone. What do you want his bone dagger to do?
Move back into his guard.
Yep.
He can stay away from me.
He's going to try to move his bone dagger boldly forward. 5 extra die. 1, 2, 3, 4. I gain 2.
Alright, it's 2d20. Dang it.
Moves you forward, and I'll spend 2 to advance his bone dagger right up as he's trying to push it through the shield very, very slowly. Just turns over because he only just started touching your shield.
Okay. I'll boldly move my sword, I guess.
difficulty 2.
Yeah, I get duty. I will spend 1 momentum for 1 extra die. Hopefully this works.
Yep.
Nice.
You
I'll take it.
And you're gonna move it into one of your guards.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is going to bare hand just try to grab and yank the sword away from you to try to pull it out of the fight. Now it's an opposed roll.
Okay.
This is a battle roll.
Oh, that's much better for me.
I'm gonna buy 2 extra dice.
Oh dear, I should not have spoken. Does my tactics focus apply?
Yes.
Sweet. I'll still use duty as my drive. I will spend momentum for 1 extra die. Submit. Yes, I am using a focus. Submit.
One, two, three, 4. Yeah. He grabs onto the sword with his other hand, and he yanks the sword out of your hand, and it kind of tumbles elsewhere into the cabin.
That's not good.
That's his turn because he attacked your asset to get it out of there.
Don't suppose I could grab it and toss it back to Millie.
For 2 threat, the asset could be thrown back into her hands.
I think it's worth it. What do you think, Millie?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll pick it up and Marshall, Moon Shadow.
Sword returns.
Crushing you with its force. The sword returns.
Where do you want it? Because it has to be in your area, on your side of the field, because it's being tossed to you.
I'll put it in my personal zone for now. Because it kind of feels like we're just playing happy slaps right now, so I'm going to do something about that dagger.
Spend 1 die. It's going to boldly move the dagger into your personal space.
Of course he is.
1, 2, and 3. Gain 1 threat. Whoop. Your turn.
I will attack him. Whether his bone dagger.
Okay. Opposed
With my
battle roll.
sword.
I'm going to buy 2 extra dice because I really don't want you to knock that away from me.
Okay. I'll use duty tactics. Do I want to give you more threat? Take 1 threat.
Sure. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no, dude. 1, 2. Oh no. Do you have a cool thing you can do? No, because that's for a different kind of fight, which we're not having, because we're not in the damn air. Yeah, no, you gain a momentum. And you bring your sword down onto the bone dagger and shatter it.
Good. That's that taken care of.
Huh. Well, now he's left with the free asset. Yeah, he's gonna bring it. He's gonna invoke because it's something he can. Oh wait, no, I can't. I didn't bring it up. Oh, wait, do you get your fists for free. Yeah, no, I didn't bring it up. I should have. Oh no, he does. Yeah, because he was able to grab at you. So, but I have to be able to move it forward. So, can't do anything yet. So, I'm going to roll an Actually, it's a roll instead of spending. I'm gonna roll a. Well, it's a battle roll instead of understand. I have to roll at least difficulty 2 to bring in his fists into the battle as he's trying to read your movements and trying to find a way that he can advance forward his attack without getting and actually get at you and around your sword. So and the other thing I'll bring up is that the way to assist that you did just then was the sword being normally if a sword's like knocked out a window or something, the person in the duel can't get it back, but there was a reason why you were able to get it back in, because there's an outsider who's able to throw it back to you. Whereas I can't reasonably have him pull out a lasgun, because how did he hide that on his person, sort of thing. It has to be something reasonable that I could pull out from hiding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, difficulty 2, I still need to nail it. I'm gonna spend 1 threat because I want to be able to punch you. Because you're always gonna do hand-to-hand stuff in your own space. That's always a thing you can do, but reaching out is something that is not something you can do for free, I don't think. 1, 2, 3, so I gain 1. So he has his regular unarmed attack. Goes to you.
Okay.
Actually, he will summon it over here. Put it anywhere in his own area.
Okay. I will make a move roll to try to boldly move. So, dumb question, but for an unarmed attack, can you attack that asset too? Or can you just like keep making endless unarmed attacks like the Black Knight from Monty Python?
It'll be literally an unarmed attack.
You can cut at his hand, and it forces it to pull out of the fight. If I want to bring it back, like you basically slice his hand, I'd have to spend to say, well, he gets his other hand into it or his foot into it. But I have to do a roll every time to bring it back into the fight, because he has to figure out how he can get at you safely.
Okay.
If you did it at least 4 times, I would probably say he doesn't have any more unarmed attacks, because everything's been any possible reasonable unarmed attack has been resolved, and headbutts aren't really useful in this context.
Okay. Then I will aim to move my sword. I guess we can only move from personal to our guard to their personal, right?
Well, you can only move 1 additional zone, so you could for 2
Exactly.
momentum. So you'd be able to go or in one go.
Gotcha. In that case, I will move my
Keep in
sword.
mind, if you do a bold, you can force his unarmed attack to go somewhere.
Cool. I'll move my sword to my guard zone on the left side, using duty as my drive.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll use 2 dice in this case.
I helped. Oh no!
I am not. Well, okay.
Would you like to give me 2 threat instead of suffering a complication?
Yes.
Okay.
I imagine the complication would have been the sword breaks or something.
I'm not gonna. I could move your sword around because you failed, but I don't want it to move forward, so I'll just leave it where it is.
Okay.
I'm gonna boldly move my unarmed attack forward. I'll try to anyway. I'll spend a die. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gain 2. I'll spend 2 to move it all the way to your personal zone. You know what? I don't want your sword to be able to cut at my hand, so I'll move it over here.
Okay.
Back to you.
I will make a move roll to move my sword a zone.
Where are you moving it?
Personal zone.
Oh, okay.
I was debating.
Difficulty 2.
Okay then. I will spend that momentum for an extra die. Good thing I did.
You want his unarmed attack to stay where it is, or do you want to move it?
Do I? Yeah, I can move back to the guard zone.
I'm going to spend 2 threats. Starts thinking about how his other hand can get into the around your guard. I still have to move it though. I only get 2 dice. Boldly move it forward. 1, 2, just enough. So boop. Turn back to you.
Okay. I will try to move my sword into where his unarmed attack is.
2.
For Pete's sake.
Would you like to give me 2 threat?
Sure. RNG does not like me today.
He is going to leave your sword where it is. He is going to try to move his first armor attack into your zone. Not going to spend anything for this. Only got 1. I fail. You can choose to move one of my unarmored attacks.
The one in my guard can move back a zone.
Okay, back to you.
I will move my sword forward again. Unsuccessfully.
I'll leave it where it is. Dance one of my unarmed attacks forward. Fail. You can move one of mine.
This one can move back to his personal zone.
And I'm going to ask Johanna Rashid to give me a communicate test here, or battle test, difficulty of 2. Because this, you might have called the guard to get them here fast enough that this duel gets broken up by outside attackers.
That might be good.
And I'll spend 2 to up the difficulty to 3.
Communicate duty.
Yep. The increased difficulty is me saying that this guy's fighting so fast that maybe you don't get you're not able to get them there.
Diffs up to 3, you say?
I do.
Okay, take 3 threat for 4. Neurolinguistics as a focus. To like really, when I called, underlined the fact they needed to hurry.
Sure.
Oh, oh. Don't think there's anything I can do about any of that.
Would you like to give me 2 threat for that? Or suffer the consequences?
Sure, let's give you the 2 threat.
The duel continues, as help's been called by this point, but it's not getting here that fast. Bad guy. Is poking 2 threat to reveal as he opens his mouth that he's about to bite down on his tongue. Buying 2 extra dice, because now I need to do an attack on myself, essentially. And this is a self-attack, so I can't... this is him just attacking his own face, as it were, with his own face, so that can't really be moved. I suppose he could move it too. Anyway. Attacking himself, so... 1, 2, 3. Generate 1. He has changed the stakes now. So now it's a matter of stopping him from destroying himself before you can subdue him. He's done 2 damage to his goal. He gets the feeling he can't get to you, but he can try to pull himself out of the equation. Back to you, Marshall. Moving to this guard. Requires difficulty 2 of move. You're muted, by the way.
Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead and take a threat. I am moving my sword forward to try to get him.
Do we maybe want to turn this into a skirmish so we can both try to prevent him?
That would be a good
Killing
idea.
himself?
That's doable. How do we do that?
You just say that's what you're doing. You're breaking the duel.
Perfect. That works. Because
Gotcha.
I apologize. I was not aware that duels are so move heavy.
No, I mean, I've never done one either, but yeah, it's Dune does things weird.
Yeah.
He's done 2
Yeah.
to himself. You've invoked into a skirmish as probably either Moonshadow calls for help or Johanna just starts rushing into the fight. You guys are the ones who broke the skirmish, because I couldn't. Rather, I could, I didn't want to. I was going to take my chances of trying to defeat one of you in a duel. It didn't work. So yeah, one of you 2 can move.
Joanna will try to use the voice on him again to tell him to stop moving.
And I will assist if possible.
Okay. Communicate test.
Okay. I'll give you 3. I'm really wanting to stop this guy. For 3 auto hits.
3.
So...
I'm going to try my best.
Okay.
I'll buy 2 extra dice to try to force him to maintain his thing. I will say in this case he does have 1 free hit due to a trait he has.
I mean, it's not your best. You could spend at least 1 more.
No, I can't. I need 3 more.
Ah, damn it. Okay. So, and let's try. Because assuming this guy is the part of the cult, trait of Reverend Mother of the Bene Gesserit.
I'll give you a hit on that, yeah.
Okay, so that'll at least knock out his trait bonus. Okay, we we don't have much. I've got 3. It's a communicate, which is not one of my better. I'm going to have to go communicate duty again. I want to give him more threat. Duty. Yeah, take 1 threat for the 3rd die. Neurolinguistics for a focus.
Yep. And now I'm gonna buy that extra last die. 1 AP because I've spent a lot of threat.
Okay. Here we go. Jeez, I'm rolling for shit today.
Oh
So-
wow, 2 comps too. Good God.
I know. I mean, I've got 3 with 2 comps. I don't have any way to do any rerolls there.
Moonshadow can roll to assist.
I did, and I also got a complication.
Yeah.
RNG hates us today.
Yeah, we
If it
just.
were D&D, we'd be doing amazingly well.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, but we're not. Yeah, we're
1,
not rolling well.
2, 3, 4. Wait, is it 3, 4? Hold on. It is 3, 4. Yep.
Yeah, you got it.
You may want to have a nameless guard be in there for assist if you like,
Okay.
Sure.
because you do have a player sitting nearby.
Oh, of course, duh.
Not really nearby. Several hundred to 1,000 miles by.
Well, we haven't actually left the planet yet, so.
No.
That's a good thing.
I was referring to the fact that I'm not in Canada or
Oh,
in
fair.
southern North Carolina.
So I'll
Right?
you
Oh,
can build if you want, but I do have a set like house soldier as a flat
No,
thing.
I'm gonna make. So this is time for someone to step up and be a little bit.
Be a hero. So
What page is that on?
it is.
Because I know there's a
on-
whole page that tells pretty quickly how to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. I have the cheat sheet that tells me page numbers. 137 and 240 is what it indicates. And actually, I have the thing that can save you a bit of trouble right here. Does it tell you how much it costs? Makes them cost?
It depends on how much you give them.
Ah. So this is a quick summary
Oh,
of the
nice.
things you can do. Actually, I'll do.
It's different from that.
Oh, support characters. Oh, right.
Support characters, yeah.
All right. Then in that case.
It's, I think, on page 137. Or is that not all of it? Nope, that's not even the whole.
Minor
place.
nobles are made of support characters of the same rank. 136, 137.
Oh yeah, there it is. It's notable and minor supporting characters. This is a notable one, I think, because you were offering to use minor.
I was offering minor, but you could invoke him notable, yeah.
Notable is the one we have a limited number of, and it costs to invoke them. Trait, the roll. So, I have a question.
Mhm.
Can I give him a trait right now, and then at the end of the session, since we're going to keep him, change it? So right now it would be to give him the trait like military police officer, because he's part of maybe Millie's unit. But then at the end of the episode, he might make a good candidate to make our swordmaster. Now that we don't have one, like this is him stepping out of the obscurity to become someone who will call upon more frequently.
You might just make the trait like military police. Keep it more broad. Because they still could be a person that constantly comes up. They're just a member of the military police unit that the marshal commands, and they sometimes pop in to help. So I'm not sure what you would change it to that would make more sense for them to be involved. Because they wouldn't take the marshal's job, for example. That's the next rank above them, really.
No, I meant moving them from being like, right, if they help out here, moving them from being a military officer to our swordmaster.
You would invoke them now as military Actually, what you could do, come to think of it, you might say that they already are the new swordmaster. Like they're the newly appointed one that just only got here recently. Because you would always have somebody who's a swordmaster, just not one from Kinzaz. That's all. You would invoke someone as you're the guy who's our swordmaster.
All right, yeah. I just thought it'd be cool if like this was the thing that got him there.
Yeah. Narratively, we know that's that moment of like this is why he's proven himself.
Okay, drives. 5. So, all right.
Mechanically, already as narratively, he's proving why he becomes it later. So you're giving me 3 threat, I believe, because you can't.
It might end up being more than that, but I'm trying to go as fast as I can.
Yeah, no, don't worry. Just in the math ahead of myself. So yeah, there was that furious exchange of punch, stab, and all this rapid swings, knocking away bone dagger, and reaching at each other. Till eventually, the Reverend Mother just had enough, and is like, no, I gotta get. Especially when he starts like trying to hurt himself, it's like, no, we need to dogpile him before he does something. And some enterprising military police guy, who is faster than everyone else, is just sprinting across the tarmac way ahead of everyone and just dives into the shuttle and notices the two of you trying to... Actually, you're not even grabbing at him, you're voicing at him. So you're shouting at him to stop. You're not even grabbing at him, I just realized. And maybe like Moonshadow's like still kind of grappling with a little bit, trying to talk him down, but it's kind of hard to talk him down when you're struggling to keep him from trying to grab at your sword or knock out your shield or something. So many.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get so much.
We had to give you 6 to ignore them.
Mm-hmm.
That's assuming the support character manages to tie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of them you can save because I rolled a comp as well, so you're only sitting on
4.
4.
I guess I don't think I have any way to do anything about those.
There it is. No, I can't get you to. I can't get you to comply to a drive that you could challenge. I don't think. Because apply is usually a way to make me get you for me to try to force you to do something, and you might make me stop.
Right.
I can't really comply you to stop through faith manage.
Right.
Actually, you know what? I will say, as you're building, that I'm willing to offer a comply that you're willing to faith manages that you will let off because you think that his faith in him in his cause is gonna carry him through no matter what, no matter even through your voice, he'll still push through.
So what is that? What is a comply? How does this work?
Comply is if you accept the comply, then you just let it go and you gain a determination point. Alternatively, you can challenge my comply. You get a determination and can still continue the thing you're trying to do. Problem is, it strikes out the statement, so you'd have to reword it in a scene.
So that's basically like challenging the statement, and I would have to.
Yep. And I'm pushing the comply because it makes sense here.
Right. So if I accept the comply, then I'm like, no, this is just not going to work. I'm going to not fight it.
Yeah.
And he does whatever he's going to do.
Yep.
No.
Well, he'll keep trying to do what he's going to do anyway.
Right.
I still have to do rolls to actually for him to defeat himself.
Right.
You might let this roll go.
Last little bit of thing. If I give him the talent, improved resources, it's going to give him an asset, which, as someone who is a swordmaster, I think I'm going to have to do because he needs a sword.
Right.
Since that's being established as a permanent asset, any kind of quality to that, or is it going to be 0?
I'd call it quality 1 at least, because he's a swordmaster, so it should be of some decent quality.
All right, then I think I'm done, and I think let me double check I got the cost right. It starts with 3. I'm not known for caution, so I might end up spending 8. I think I probably will just go ahead and bite the bullet and spend 9 to give him a second trait.
Okay.
Because why not? And this one is his reputation. He's way out here ahead of the rest of the group, and he's making a name for himself. What about the personality trait Maverick?
Yeah. Like, he was already sprinting before he was called over. Like, he got a feeling, and it's like, I'm gonna get over there. I don't care if I get in trouble.
Get an image for him later, but military, or the sword master, Adanasio Pilotti comes running up. And we need to disarm this guy.
Well, so far we're at a comply I've invoked.
Okay, so I will challenge your comply. I guess that's the right terminology.
Yep. So you're forcing it through despite me trying to stop you through your statement. So you lose faith manages, you still get a determination.
Okay. So I'm going to spend the determination to reroll those 3 whiffs. Which was what?
Oh, this might not work. I just realized because it has to be. Oh wait, no, you're not using faith to stop him. You're using duty to stop him.
Right.
Good.
Okay, so that was, I think, communicate duty, if I'm remembering right.
Communicate duty. Yep.
And I'm rerolling 3. I did have a focus. All right, here goes nothing. So that's 5 now. And only 1 comp on the board.
Piatti can roll to assist with the shouting at him to stop moving.
Okay.
Stop in the name of the military police.
This is the thing he's weakest at. And I failed the assignment. I just made a good sword master. I didn't make.
Well, I think honestly we have him now because his comp and our comp wipe each other out, and I think we've got him by 1.
Yeah, you don't have to assist if you don't want to. That's they do have it.
The duty, his drive statement is the house asks, I answer. He has to.
I mean, fair
Okay.
enough. Yeah.
So
Stop!
This has to be communicate?
Yeah.
Okay, communicate. He's got nothing here.
Well, duty. I think you called it. You called it.
Oh,
there you go.
yeah, he could have used it. No, he can't use determination on assist. That should only been 1 die, right? As an assist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, I didn't do anything.
But no comp, so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
we got
that's
it.
the important bit. So, yeah, you're 1 over on him. You were tied and you're 1 over, so you generate momentum. Oh. You shout at him. Everyone's shouting.
Stop!
Don't move! Stop! He stops moving. Do you wish to keep the initiative, everybody?
Yes, because we need to remove whatever he was going to bite on from his mouth.
That will cost a momentum and a threat if you wish to do that.
I think we better, guys.
Yeah.
All right. There's 2 other people in the shuttle.
He has some sort of poison or detonator in his mouth.
I'll try
He's
to
shaking. He's trying to do it.
I'll try to restrain him.
Battle. Difficulty 2 because you forced me not to move. I can't move until my turn comes back.
Power, because he believes strength determines victory. I am stronger than you. I deserve to win.
Sure.
Oh, is this an asset?
This is a person. It's a named person.
No, the thing he's biting.
It's an asset, yeah.
Is this test to remove the asset.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I want to give you one threat, because if he succeeds at this, he's got decisive action. So if he succeeds at removing an opponent's asset, any spent threat, he can spend 2 points of momentum to remove a second asset.
Ooh, okay.
And I'll spend determination on the drive statement.
Which is again, sorry?
Actually, I need strength determines victory.
Okay.
And I need to give you another threat because cost went up.
Oh.
And a focus in dirty fighting.
Uh-huh. As you're basically jamming your hand into his mouth and trying to gain
So,
one. Gain 3, sorry, because you spent for your determination.
And the Kinjal, he's not dueling, so never mind. All right, then I'll so that asset's removed, right? Whatever the poison tooth or whatever.
Yeah, as you grab into his mouth and you're able to kind of like wrench it out of their mouth.
Ew.
All right, does he have any other assets on him?
His fist.
For momentum, I'll answer that.
Yeah.
Yes. He actually, that wouldn't be an asset. I correct myself. But I will. I won't I won't monkey's paw you on this. He doesn't have an asset to continue hurting himself, but he has an inborn ability to continue hurting himself while he's conscious. Like you're looking around for something else, you can still tell he's in pain, but you quickly kind of you look him over. You're very close. You see the fight. You see the broken bone dagger, and it's like there's something else that's hurting him internally. It's like he's doing it to himself. Like he's willing himself to be hurt somehow.
All right, but we have to let it go back to him, right?
Yeah. So first that ability, then can get up some quality, and now I actually still have to hurt myself because somebody made me do it the hard way. Getting 1 AP because I'm spending a lot of threat in one go. 2, 3. Whoop. Oh God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Needed 2. Gain 5. Do 3 damage to myself. I don't have to drop
count as an AP because I feel like we failed here technically.
Yeah, but he had to spend threat to make us fail.
Yeah. What was I doing? All right. So 4 onto 2 is 6. Is 6 enough to defeat him? Unfortunately, he started this fight in a way that's normally good for him. It's actually hard for him to defeat himself.
How weird.
There's your stat block. Wait, I can add to damage. Friggin'. Where is it? 160, 170. Okay, there we go. Each Oh, I can add 1 to it, to the quality of the item, which is what I did already. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, he's 1 short. He starts convulsing violently. And it goes to the marshal. Like, the poison dude's been pulled out. He doesn't have any weapons. You're basically on top of him, more or less. And he's just convulsing violently. He's still breathing. He's still alive. If only just.
Can I try to restrain him so that he doesn't injure himself or grab any other secret poison patches?
I will give you understand difficulty 2.
Okay.
To see if you can figure out a way to stop him from hurting himself.
Does danger sense apply on this one? I'm not sure if it does.
I wouldn't say so.
Alright, I will spend 1 momentum for 1 extra die. And I'll use duty again.
Mm-hmm. You don't have determination, do you? You spent it during the duel.
I already spent it, yeah. So I'm gonna get a complication.
Yep. Complication, why?
Sorry, I did get the 2 successes though. I thought you said it was difficulty 2.
It is. I just realized since you guys acted last, it will go back to him.
Oh.
So you're probably going to want to take an additional action, so you're going to want a determination to stop him.
Yeah.
But
I don't have determination, so...
Oh, I know what to do here. You're in a shuttle. Shuttles sometimes have medical kits. I will say for 2 momentum, so a momentum threat, you're able to get something that kind of halts his spasming, so he stops thrashing around the way he is. As you realize that physically restraining him isn't going to do anything. He's having a full-on seizure of some kind, and it's not something you can just bear hug someone to stop. That if anything, that kind of you realize that will exasperate the problem.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I'll send the threat and momentum.
And the battle stops. I have no other way to continue hurting him. Run out of ways to do it. Just punching or biting himself isn't enough anymore. So the guy kind of sits there in the thing as you're all kind of piling after him, and then he looks very, very tired, exhausted, and very slowly passes out from the drug that was given to him that kind of countered his whatever he was doing to himself. And he is still breathing.
Swordmaster looks really confident that this went great.
So is he still conscious or not?
He is unconscious right now.
All right, so we need to get him into a secure medical facility where we can make sure he's disarmed and perhaps circumvent whatever inbuilt ability to hurt himself he has, or at least keep him sedated. What do we need to do to make that happen, GM?
You're going to need to give me an understand roll. I will call it difficulty 3 to properly sedate him long enough without hurting him.
Okay. Understand. I'm going to shoot my shot for truth because this is a fact-based thing.
Can I assist?
You can certainly assist. I won't take truth, though.
Okay.
This isn't about discovering truth.
The truth of how much sedative it'll take.
You're
How much is too much?
not discovering it. You either know it or you don't.
Okay, so I don't really know how medical roles work. So understand faith.
Power?
I'll take justice.
Duty, because I'm trying to keep it alive because the Falsgrafen told me to get the intelligence out of
That's a
him.
good argument. I'll take duty.
Okay.
Sure.
And this was discipline, right? Or understand.
Understand, yeah.
Understand.
Okay. Understand. Duty.
will assist.
You said diff 3.
Yep.
Okay.
this is a
Take a
lot
threat for the third die.
This is a much nearer thing than I thought it was going to be.
Well, there's 2.
3 from Moonshadow.
Okay, we hit it.
Yeah, you're able to pull out from the kit the rel and kind of remember some lessons back in the for Johanna. It's remembering stuff you learned in the Sisterhood,
Right.
and about about
Poisons.
medicine. Like you're not from the Sook school, but you do know about the
Right.
human body. That is important to know. And Mill's kind of able to fill you in on some of the local drugs that are in the medical kit that will help. That will get what you're trying to do.
Cool.
You're able to basically put them. You're able to with the meager supplies at hand, able to sedate this person into a controlled coma, essentially. So they can't act until you wake them again. You hear the crackle of the radio. Is everything okay back there? I don't hear any moving anymore.
It is now. Get us home to Salutaris and the fortress, whatever it's called.
Fortress Landing.
Fortress Landing. Boy, and Jamie thought Star Trek combat took forever.
To save that action tree palace, because that might come up again, so I'll save that map. And I am wiping stuff here, but don't worry, I have saved this map for later use because you're probably gonna come back to this place. Sure.
Yep, when we become the stewards.
We prove ourselves the 4th house.
Oops, I can pull you back. Oh. No. So a new scene begins. You will lose momentum, but don't worry about it. When you spend, does that person stay available for the whole adventure or just for the scene? When you bring in a support character, forget.
I'd have to find it.
The start of a scene, you must choose who are you using, this person or that person. Yeah, no, you'd have to spend to bring him into this new scene.
Well, it says, however, this means that if the game master ends a scene and then establishes the next scene in a location occupied by a different set of characters, they may switch. I think that implies that you could establish a scene that's occupied by the same characters.
Well, you'd be either you or this person, right? In this case. Because usually it's either you or this person's in this scene. Because you don't control both right now, and he's not an asset of yours. He's just a support character that can be brought into stuff. Because technically the fight in the shuttle should have been its own scene.
Yeah, I only thought that the way it's worded implies that you can just establish who's there in the scene if it's kind of a continuation in a different location.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you could just have the person along with you. Yeah, I get you. Yeah. You have a picture for them.
But
Oops, that's the wrong person.
But I would choose the false griffin over him. The only thing I'm thinking about is like, let's say we have like it doesn't make sense for the false griffin to be here, and he was in the group of people on the shuttle, and now we're going to those same group of people in a new scene. Isn't he just already there?
We'll move forward. That's a lot longer discussion, but we don't need it at the moment. So, point being, we are in Fortress Landing. The person's secure. You're on Salutaris. It could be that very same night, because, flight time isn't all that long. Or it could be the following morning. Up to you three. Oops, actually, wrong music. We're not on in the palace.
Well, might as well say the next morning if we're going to have Erica in the scene, because that way she will have spent the night like she was supposed to down below and return to Salutaris.
Yeah. So where do the three of you meet in Fortress Landing? In someone's quarters, in the main throne area, audience chamber?
This is just the two of y'all meeting the false griffin, or y'all like y'all like interrogating this person? Like, what exactly are we doing?
Like, my guess would be that we want to interrogate this person to see what information they have before we put the false griffin.
Well, my deal is that I think we need to make a medical support to figure out what it was, because we'd removed all his knife and his poison tooth, but he was still apparently able to send himself into a seizure. So we need to have somebody qualified to figure out how he can do that and how to stop it, which I think is, making the house doctor support character. I mean, am I right in thinking that, GM, that if we wake him up, he or she has some sort of ingrained ability to harm herself that without some sort of intervention.
So you can create another support character creation. You can do a minor person, just some medical person, some local doctor, or you can have the house sook doctor, or not sook doctor, but the house doctor.
No soup doctors. Too expensive.
All right. What page was the support? Info on?
137.
Yep.
7.
Actually, what I'll do, because I don't think I pinned where the page number is, so I'm having to remember. Oh,
One trait. Drives.
So, if he's minor, instead of having like full character sheets like we and notable characters do, it just has like a single drive, that covers all of his drives, and no statement, so no determination. And I think ours would begin with 5 because medical professionals are not a secondary or primary domain of ours.
yeah. Yeah, you could fill in one of the sheets as your generic medical person. That doesn't cost anything to invoke, but you have it in case you need them again. Ow.
Do we want to do that just for the sake of quickness, or do we want to like maybe put off the interrogation until next game and take the time to? I'll take the time to create an actual notable sporting character.
Do you want them to come up more frequently? Doesn't matter to me, but if you want to have them,
Well, let's just do a minor one then.
Yeah, because I can add more copy of Wooderson or whatever.
Right.
So then I think all we need to know is like what the role is going to be.
Yeah. What's the?
Because we're just going to make this guy good at what you want it to be. So his drive is going to be 5, his skill's going to be 6, and he's probably going to have a focus.
It is going to be, and this may change if you want to use a minor or not, to be fair. It's an understand roll. I know that.
To understand truth?
Yeah, if it's understand truth, Joanna can do it. I mean, actually,
it depends on what drives the person. It's hard because it's not rock solid what the drive is. It depends on why the person's doing what they're doing.
Well, let's look at Joanna. Okay, it's going to be understand. That's her highest skill. That's good.
I will say it is difficulty.
Well, that's what I was saying. On a minor character, they don't have multiple drives.
Right.
All of their drives are just one number.
Right. So they'd be rolling. I think they start with a
5
6 in the skill
and a 5 in the drive.
I'd say it's diff 5. So...
No, yeah, a minor's not going to pull that off.
Okay. So it's going to be diff 5. Understand something. Don't have any determination left. Would you take truth since I'm determined to discover the truth of his shenanigans? Of his physical ability?
Yeah, like you now that you have time to examine his body, you might try to figure out what. I'll treat this role as you trying to figure out what the heck is going, how he's able to do what he's doing. Now that you have a medical facility of some kind on Fortress Landing, one presumes, then you could examine him more thoroughly.
Okay, so would knowledge of past events, particularly those in and around Silvanus, have any effect on this roll?
I wouldn't say so, no.
That's worth a shot for
It
this.
is worth asking. You made me think about it. I was like, has this already happened here before in my mind? I don't think it has.
What about an asset of intelligence on the Redeemer Inquisition, a +2 asset, quality 2 asset?
That asset will help. Yes. I'll bring that difficulty down by 1.
Okay, so it's diff 4 now.
So if you succeed, you'll generate 2 momentum. It's a quality 2 asset.
Okay. Great. Reverend Mother of the Bene Gesserit as a trait, because that's indicating the extreme training of a Bene Gesserit.
Wouldn't fall into their training, unfortunately.
Very
Otherwise, other
well.
memory would have fired.
Fair enough. Okay. I think that's
Worth
all
asking,
here.
though.
Bring it down to 4, and we don't have any momentum, so I'm gonna have to buy all the dice with the threat. So that's gonna be understand, truth. I'm gonna have to go with the full mitt here, guys. So that's gonna be big threat.
Yep. And I'm going to up your complication range by 1, as the thing you're trying to look into is incredibly mysterious, and very few people have even the sliver of understanding of what you're trying to figure out.
Perhaps if I had a cup of tea beforehand. If I had hyper awareness, that just might work. Okay, don't have a focus. Does this have a thing to let me set my complication range? I don't think so. Okay, here goes nothing the way I've been rolling. Well, what do you know? That hits it just.
So you examine the body there in your medical area. And the thing is, you have... To the average person, this is a full-on, medical suite. This is you have your own little surgery studio and beds and all this stuff. You have, for... The average person can't imagine having this kind of medical facility just lying around. But to you guys, this is normal. This is what any house would have worth its salt. Maybe not it's not a full ward, but,
Right.
It's enough. You look over the body and you think about it. You read some stuff. You think about it some more. Look at the body. And it appears to you that this person, and I'll add it even a little extra because of what you are. What you do through Prando Bindu, through the will of the mind, this person seems to be able to command their very genetics and the very basis of their body. And it's almost like they were activating a sort of genetic kill switch. You could forcibly stop your own heart and pretend to be dead, or actually,
Right.
what have you. This person seemed to have it's almost like their body was creating an allergic reaction to air, which if they had an allergic reaction to air, that would have come up already. You know what I mean? They suddenly were manifesting this, but you stopped the process. So it seems to be, there's a genetic kill switch of some kind in their body.
Well, I bet that's not going to be easy to turn off.
For a threat, I can tell you who could.
Okay, tell me. 13 is a beautiful number.
I'll tell you there's 2 groups that could potentially do it. The Bene Talaxu or the House of the Great House of Vilnius, who control Ix. Actually, I'll extend it even further. Vilnius could do it. In theory, there's another house, but they're space. They were your rivals in space once upon a time.
Okay.
I forget who they are. They're a major house though. So, but they're also on Ix.
Right.
So either Ixians could do it, or Bene Talaxu could do it.
So yeah, having discovered all that, I'll leave this person safely sedated and go to report to both the Falsgrafen and the Marshal about what I've discovered. It appears this person can send, has some sort of ability to send their genetic code into a kind of cascade failure, causing them to rapidly cease to exist. The ability to stop that, I believe, only lies with the Bene Tiliacs or the Ixians.
Neither of whom do I wish to become intertwined with.
We can keep the person sedated, but that is about it as far as getting any information or actionable intelligence. I do not think that is possible.
Restrain them so that they're not a danger to themselves, and let them finish what they have started.
My liege. So yeah, I'll go and strap him down and let him wake up. Her, rather.
Well, you have to actively, like, are you waking them up? They won't wake up on their own.
That's the rules. That's what the Falsgrafen wants. I'll bring Pilati in with me just in case something goes sideways and the straps aren't strong enough.
Are you sure? Bringing in Pilati is going to guarantee something goes wrong, because he costs 5.
Oh, okay. I'll bring in the Marshal then. Yeah.
Yeah, be careful. He is powerful, but you do not want to use him lightly.
Fair enough.
So you bring him around. Wakes on the bed, strapped down.
Welcome back to the land of the waking. You are in the medical facility at Fortress Landing. You may, if you wish, continue your self-imposed dissolution, or you can choose life.
He begins thrashing on the bed. You can hear the buckles that he's under creaking. Foam at the mouth. His eyes roll back.
I look at Millie and goes, "This appears to be a very painful way to go. Absolutely fitting for a murderous heretic."
Certainly not an end I'd want to be.
So I'll stay until she's definitely dead.
No, that doesn't. I almost want to invoke that, but that doesn't really apply here. You. No. You're not in the room, Falsgrafen, and I don't think your statement would come into it. No. So, yeah, the person thrashes themselves until at some point they grow deathly pale and stop moving.
All right. Use the medical equipment to make sure they're actually dead and not just in some sort of Pranabindu-like state of
Yeah, I was
suspended.
about to ask.
Understand difficulty 2. Yeah, that's worth doing.
Truth?
Yeah,
Can I assist?
certainly can.
Okay, I'm just gonna roll it flat then.
That was damn grim, but oh well.
Uh,
Freaking
Yeah.
Dune at moments is incredibly grim.
Yeah. It's not a light and happy
No.
world or series of novels. So I'm halfway there. If you can get one hit.
could I roll with duty instead of truth?
Certainly could.
That's helpful. All right. Hopefully I succeed. Apparently I do. Nice.
Yeah. Between the two of you, you two are versed in death. From different ways, but you're versed in it. Yeah, there is no godly way one comes back from this much damage to their body.
All right. Let's call in the med techs to do whatever we do with dead bodies. I think there is something.
Cremation, generally.
So
They just this guy just isn't going to get the grand ceremony of it, I imagine.
No,
I just saw your
cremation.
message.
Put in a jar, and then put in the old cave out in the mountain for the criminally deceased.
The criminally deceased.
As compared to the legally deceased.
Well, they get to have fancy mausoleums.
No,
and stuff.
yeah, I don't think it was legal for him to kill himself, but that's what he did.
Sorry,
Okey
but
dokey.
blasting anybody's ears. My asthma's acting up today,
No,
apparently.
that's fine.
Well, he did cough a little bit. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna spend some threat to give you a disease. No, I'm just kidding.
Criminally deceased.
Yeah, no, the person passes
Okie dokie.
and is
that
carried
was-
away.
That was frustrating.
As a
you gotta
note,
send
I'm
AP.
going to give you all 1 AP for not being able to stop that person, because that was incredibly difficult to stop them from doing that. And you tried really, really hard. I spent a lot of resources, and they managed, but I had to do extreme things to get them. So I'll count that as a very
Fair
high
enough.
difficulty task.
Right. Well. She is dead.
Then I imagine like standing on a balcony of the fortress, like overlooking the city. The false Graffin will say, "I have strong assurances that Malvolus will bring the cult to heel on their world. So, Marshall, you will root them out and destroy them here. Joanna, you will root them out and destroy them on Silvanus." She kind of turns back around and says, "They are not a house. They do not get the right of Conley. They simply will be wiped out."
I will work with the marshal to ferret out any infiltrators. We will run a thorough counter-espionage operation.
Who has that role?
This is gonna be John, all right. You do understand stuff.
One could lead, the others can assist, because there's something about actions on Silvanus that you're like,
I'll assist on that.
Truth?
Can I do power?
You could do power. I'll take truth here. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, with an assist, I'm gonna try to risk it again, just rolling straight.
Moonshadow, the assist queen over here. Goddamn.
Yep. Hey, see, we're good. Teamwork makes the dream work.
You recognize that actions done on Silvanus. You three may be the ultimate law on Salutaris. You are not the ultimate law on Silvanus. So any actions you do down there will have to be done with some level of care if you don't want to get the houses down there or the tribes involved. Unless they're an open, unclaimed territory, then they're just kind of at general law. But you either need to evade the local authorities if you want to handle it your guys' way, or you'll want to gain the cooperation of wherever they're hiding.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. I thought Erica was just talking about Salutaris.
No. Erica has basically decreed the eradication of this cult in total.
Yeah, fair enough.
But didn't tell you how to achieve it. So, like, if a special hand has to be taken on Silvanus and it takes 10 years to do, that's fine.
Right.
It's just that, right. Erica's
She's decreed their death.
Right.
Yeah, well, she's decreed war.
Yeah.
Right.
This is War of Assassins without the formality of it because they don't have the protection of the Great Convention.
I wouldn't even call it a War of Assassins. It might be a War of Assassins on Silvanus, but on Salutaris, it's just an open, like, the Marshal can totally just use the military police and go.
You can go full on warfare on them to try to kill them.
Yep. My liege, in your planned stay on Silvanus with the tribes in the next 2 weeks, this could be a very good lever for an alliance, and their help in rooting out the Redeemer heresy below could be invaluable.
Agreed.
But I mean, the Marshal and I can clean house on Salutaris first and foremost, I think, without having to worry about any of that.
I think that's our most important
step,
because
I mean, the person who attacked the consort had infiltrated our guards, so we need to clean house first.
Yeah.
The false griffin looks like they were trying to maintain some sort of discipline, but because the false griffin is ill-disciplined, we'll kind of pointedly and impulsively say, very well, you can work together, but the Marshal will take lead and responsibility for actions here on the planet. I'm still not over the disappointment on the moon. On Silvanus.
Okay, so are you talking about, when you say the planet in that sentence, are you talking about our moon or
No, the planet. She's basically, you fell on your sword, and she was trying to let it go, and then you mentioned the whole thing, and she's impulsive and has a discipline of 4, so she just got mad and called this your problem and put Millie in charge because she's impulsive.
Okay. Joanna will bow, but yeah, she's going to run a counter-espionage on Salutaris first and the house to try and clean our forces first and kind of feed the information that I gleaned from that, if any, to the Marshal.
Well, the one thing I'll actually say to the two of you, all 3 of you, honestly, you can perform an espionage. It won't happen this session. It'll happen.
Right.
What's going to happen is if everyone is here next week, I think we're all going to be here next week.
Yeah.
Then that will be our house management thing. So that will be we fast forward a few weeks to the next big event while you guys handle stuff in-house. Some of that can include doing stuff like as your personal ventures. You might do
Right.
stuff to try to push against the cult, but there's also the collective. What are we doing as a house together? What is our house? What are our resources? And actually part of that, actually narratively, it makes sense to me now that you may, part of this cleaning house may be like doing an inventory of, okay, what precisely do we have right now? What's good? What's bad? What have we paid for? What do we need to pay for? And what do we
Right.
need to change? Because now we have the new state of affairs that need, and the False Graven really needs to know, really probably wants to know, what do I have other than my personal forces that like she knows, the False Graven knows what she personally has as assets easily. Like, well, yeah, I brought
Right.
them with me, but what do I have at hand so I can start crushing the cult? Or who can I send to crush it? So, and if
I
we're
do have a
short,
question.
then if we're short that, we can do a espionage roll, either an espionage attack to root them out, if you're doing it quietly, or an open warfare roll where you're just marching troops and shooting them down in the street, sort of thing, and attacking places. So that'll be probably not. It'll either be next week or the week after where that probably fires.
I do have a question. If we have to jump forward, are we going to handle the False Graffin's journey to the planet as a personal venture? And it's because we did like go through a lot of effort
that sounded like a
to
personal
agree
venture you were
that.
going to be doing, because that's happening in 2
Okay.
weeks. Because the next big event is the great conclave in the with the tribes. So that's the next
So,
big thing that's
I
happening. So
think
you're probably
we were
doing
gonna
something before then.
March in, spend a week out in the forest, and then march back. So it was going to spend 3 of the next 4 weeks doing that.
Yeah, that could definitely be a personal venture, because the personal venture is like, well, while we're doing house stuff, I'm also doing this. So probably during that, you probably give some orders. You get the lay of the land, like, okay, I'm gonna now in my own personal time, I'm gonna go off, and maybe
So
occasionally you get a radio of, hey, we need a clarification. Oh, well,
So to say, I really want to know what the house is about, but not so much I'm not going to go do this other thing and leave
Right.
the consort to answer all of your questions.
So then I probably need to go ahead and brief the Fallsgrafen on some things before next week.
Well, there is a scene, you do like role play a little bit of it as the establishing scene of, okay, we're all standing around, quick real play, and then you launch into the mechanics of how was our house managed.
Okay.
Because that's kind of a second, it's almost like we're doing another session 0 of sorts, because we're building the house in full.
Right.
You're probably also going to want to have some kind of victory before like coming back to the False Grafen.
Well, but there's a general briefing on things that she really needs to know, like some of the stuff that only Joanna knows. Is all I'm saying, and then the Fallsgrafen can read in whoever else she wants to read in.
Oh, you want to give like a private brief sort of thing? Spy master to ruler?
Yeah. I mean, but if the Fallsgrafen's not going to want to meet with me, then there's not much I can do about it.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe next week have a roll or something to get back in the False Grafen's good graces. I just thought it was a great way to like you falling on your Joanna falling on her sword did get the house to be able to engage in some diplomacy,
Right.
but then it, because of the False Grafen's impulsivity, it's a cost on the other end.
Yeah, that's fine, because that was exactly why Joanna did it. Was like, okay, we don't want to, I don't think it's a good idea for the Fallsgrafen to piss off Lord Eric first thing, so let me, take that out.
Sorry, everyone who has earbuds.
All right.
you're I have you turned down a little bit, so it's not so bad, at least for me and everyone out there. But you could have that quick briefing thing now if you want, or have that as part of the house management preamble. Up to you two.
I'm
Either
gonna
way's
forget
fine.
most of it if you tell me now, so we
Fair.
should do that next week.
Well, no, it's going to require Corbinian sending you several pages of things, so. But
Okay, yeah, definitely next time. write to me what you want me to what you
Right.
want to report. Like, assemble your briefing paper, and I can green or red light it because
Cool.
I know
Sounds
what you're.
good.
I see what you're saying. Because you probably don't want me to send everything.
No. There's something, yeah,
But
Yeah.
yeah, no. So yeah. Most unfortunately, well, fortunately, no one was killed despite the assassins' in-depth attempts to do so. Certain offers and preambles of diplomacy have been made to House Valorian and House Malvolus. And sadly, though, the assassin that would be whatever information they had and might have shared has been lost by rather extreme and occult, as it were, means. But next time, we shall be looking into the greater motions of the House and the future of House Beleza in the wider scope of not only the planet and its moons, but the Imperium as a whole. For all of you watching, thank you very much for watching. For those of you playing, thank you very much for playing. We'll see you again next time. Woo, we even got a good old-fashioned intrigue shout-off. It wasn't even a fighty one. It was like, no. I want you to do a thing. I don't want to do a thing.
Yeah, it was not appropriate to the good pace of the game, but I was thinking like making the comment that in this, like, if this was a movie that could afford a good choreographer, right, that entire thing would happen while the two of them were dancing.
Yeah.
And you would relate the choreography to the intensity of the conversation at any given moment.
Right. Well, and to be fair, I don't think Dune is terribly concerned with paces of games, just based on all of the mechanics.